Stay tuned to Africa at Play with Network Chemane on Channel Africa, the African perspective.
It is 1400 Central African Time. This marks the second edition of Africa at Play this weekend. But worry not, we are back every Saturday and Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. Central African Time. We are live on DSTV Audio Bouquet Channel 802 or OpenView 628 if you are in South Africa. If not, you can reach us from any corner of the world online on channelafrica.co.za. Also available at your fingertips on SABC+. My name is Neto and ETO Chemane. Konyangazi mumkhatsha phandle konjani moyani vukuvuku dendele Africa at Play as Deleli Siashaya. Coming up on the show, mixed martial arts MMA is a full contact fighting sport based on striking and grappling, incorporating techniques from various combat sports from around the world. The question we are asking today is, what is the state of MMA on the African continent, and what are some of the challenges that MMA is facing in Africa? Our Zambian correspondent Namuchana spoke to MMA president in Zambia, Henry Shoko.
The development of mixed martial arts across Africa, and more specifically here in Zambia. And it's a pleasure to share the journey that our sport is on. MMA on the African continent is experiencing one of the fastest growth trajectories of any sport. Across Africa, we are seeing an incredible rise in participation, professionalism, and international recognition. Countries like South Africa, Angola, DR Congo, Cameroon, Nigeria, Zimbabwe, Egypt, and Zambia are building world-class talent. We've seen African athletes become global champions in major promotions like the UFC and PFL. And that success is inspiring an entire generation of young African athletes. Under IMAF, which is the International Mixed Martial Arts Federation, the largest and most established international world amateur governing body that MMA Zambia subscribes to, more African countries are now establishing formal federations.
Nigeria and Werder Bremen striker Victor Boniface insists his main goal is to help Bremen win games and not on just scoring as an individual. Boniface joined Bremen in September on a season-long loan from Bayer Leverkusen. Speaking to SABC Sport, Boniface says he now understands that football has its ups and downs, and he knows if he does well with the team, he will eventually find the back of the net for Bremen.
Like you said, I won the league with Leverkusen. You know how good the team is. This is like when I came, it just really happened so fast. Like the impact of each and everybody, And Bremen, I came here. I've been here for like a couple of weeks, and I'm getting to know a few players, the way they play, because it's not that easy for you to just come into the team. And sometimes it clicks, sometimes it don't click. But the most important thing is for we keep to work hard, keep doing what we've been doing, and try to the experience from other players and the experience from me also to try to help the young ones also. But we're looking forward for the season, and hopefully we can achieve something.
Proteas fielding coach Wandile Gwavu says they have no regrets about batting first in the third ODI against Pakistan in Faisalabad despite losing by 7 wickets. After winning the toss, South Africa managed just 143 in 38 overs, with Quinton de Kock the only player to pass 50. Pakistan chased down a total in 25 overs, sealing a 2-1 series victory. Gwavu admits they expected criticism but stands by the decision.
I think it's always the case when you get bowled out for 140. Those questions are always going to come up. But having taken everything into consideration, second game being played there, and also the first game we played, there was just no dew at all. Second game, there was a bit of dew. I'd love to also think that Pakistan were also not sure what to expect on the third game, also on the wicket. So I think we made the right decision. It's always going to be a question of had we got 250, 260, how would they have batted in the second innings? So I think we made the right decision.
14:04 Central African Time. A warm welcome to Africa at Play. If you have just joined us, it is a jam-packed Sunday with sporting action in different sporting codes, starting with football in the Nigerian Premier Football League. Nasarawa United takes on Kwara United at 5 p.m. Central African Time. Another match at the same time is Wiki Tourists versus Niger Tornadoes. And there's also Abia Warriors up against Enyimba, also at 5 p.m. Central African Time. Wari Wolves versus Ikorodu City at 5 p.m. while Enugu Rangers takes on Shooting Stars. Kano Pillars versus Bayelsa United, and tomorrow Kun Khalifat FC will be up against Rivers United at 5 p.m. Central African Time. There's two more matches at the same time tomorrow. Remo Stars versus El Kanemi Warriors, while Plateau United will be up against Bendele FC. And these matches will be wrapping up the weekend in the Nigerian Premier League. Let's go to the United Kingdom, where there's also galore football action happening today. There are matches that took place yesterday. Let's update you about those scores. Match day 11 of 38. Tottenham Hotspur and Manchester United played to a 2-2 draw, and Everton triumphed 2-0 against Fulham FC, while West Ham United, the Hammers, were able to hammer Burnley by 3-2. Then Sunderland and Arsenal played to a 2-2 draw, while Chelsea triumphed against Wolves, making matters worse for Wolverhampton Wanderers, who are in the basement of the Premier League. Later today at 4 p.m. Central African Time, Crystal Palace will be up against Brighton and Hove Albion, while Aston Villa takes on AFC Bournemouth at the same time. Brentford, the Bees, versus Newcastle United, also at 4 p.m. Nottingham Forest, the Tricky Trees, takes on Leeds United, while Manchester City, the Citizens, will be up against Liverpool. You will never walk alone, and Liverpool will be hoping to triumph on this one, while Manchester City is also looking for nothing but victory as they are eyeing the top spot. In the South African League, there is a match in the Kali Knockout Cup, which is a semi-final number 2 between Golden Arrows and Marumo Gallants, Bahlabane Bantwa. And later on, we will connect with Nondumiso Mkhize all the way from the Kinzwelithini Stadium to give us the latest and the build-up to this exciting clash. The winners of this match will be up against Orlando Pirates, who have triumphed by 1-0 yesterday. And this is the match that Nondumiso Mkhize, journalist based in South Africa's KwaZulu-Natal, also attended, and we will be able to review that match as well as we look forward to the two teams that will face each other in the final of the Carling Knockout. And the winners of this Carling Knockout will face the Carling All-Stars team that is made up of all the teams in the Premier Soccer League in South Africa. And that match will be happening on the 13th, while the final of the Carling Knockout will be happening on the 6th of December. Let's also update you about matches in Europe. In the Bundesliga, they say football as it's meant to be. There are matches that took place yesterday where we got to witness Werder Bremen that played against Wolfsburg and triumphed by 2-1. And yesterday there was a match between Hoffenheim, who beat RB Leipzig by 3-1, while Bayer Leverkusen, 2024 champions, had a good day on the pitch, beating Heidenheim by 6-0 in a one-way traffic thriller. Hamburger SV and Borussia Dortmund played to a 1-1 draw. Another draw was between FC Union Berlin and Bayern Munchen. It is interesting to see that in the Premier League, the leaders of the log there, Arsenal, have played to a draw against Sunderland. And when you check in the Bundesliga, the leader in Bayern Munchen also played to a 2-2 draw against FC Union Berlin. This goes to show that in modern football, you can never underestimate any team. Borussia Mönchengladbach triumphed by 3-1 against FC Köln, while SC Freiburg takes on FC St. Pauli at 16:30 Central African Time. In the evening at 18:30, it will be VfB Stuttgart up against FC Augsburg. And there's another match wrapping up the evening at 20:30 Central African Time. Eintracht Frankfurt, who will be up against FSV Mayence. And yesterday in rugby. We got to witness the Boks playing against France, and the Boks winning that match comfortably, and they are now gearing up for another match that will be happening next week Saturday. Yesterday the Boks triumphed by 32-17 at the Stade de France, and they are now looking forward to their next assignment, which will be on Saturday the 15th of November at 14:40 Central African time. They're playing away against Italy, and it is another must-win game for the Boks, and we say big ups to the Springboks Rassie Erasmus-led side, and Siako Lusi, the captain, yesterday played his 100th match to reach a century, joining the likes of Brian Habana, who have played more than 100 test matches, and this is nothing but good news for the sport of rugby. 14:10 Central African time. We take our short break. We'll be back shortly.
The Morning Switch Weekend with the Shy Guy.
The story that takes us to Zambia. There are two men actually that were sentenced to prison for the plot to kill the president with witchcraft. You go like, what? So these guys were arrested actually in Lusaka, and what was found on them was a live chameleon. Can you believe that? Animal tails and bottles of concoction. That law takes us back to 1914, which is the Witchcraft Act. I can imagine now arrested and they go to jail for the next 2 years. You know, I presume that when you get to jail, they get to ask you actually, what is it that you committed? Now, this is the first of its kind, by the way, for somebody to be arrested for such. They in Pemba, whenever they pass, hey, Chikanga, hey, Uloya, hey, Mulosi. And imagine here I am in these early hours of the mornings, I get to talk about witchcraft.
Saturday and Sunday mornings belong to the Morning Switch. 3 to 6 a.m. Central African time. Africa at Play with Neto and ETO Chemane.
14:11 Central African time. This is Africa at Play, live every Saturday and Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. Central African time. We now welcome to the show Nondumiso Mkhize, a sport journalist based in South Africa's KwaZulu-Natal province, a lady who's always energetic at different sporting codes. The last time we spoke to her, she was covering a volleyball international tournament that was taking place in the mother city, and she's back at her province. Yesterday, she attended the match at the iconic Moses Mabhida Stadium, where Orlando Pirates triumphed against the Natal Rich Boys, Richards Bay FC, by 1-0. And today she's witnessing action at another second semi-final between Abafana Bestend Golden Arrows taking on Bahlabane Bantwa Marumo Gallants, and that match is kicking off at 3 p.m. to determine who is going through, booking a special ticket to the Kali knockout final to meet the Sea Robbers. Some call them Amapakania or the Buccaneers, as Mnyama Ngenkani they are also called. I've never seen a team with so many nicknames. Nondumiso Mkhize, good afternoon and a warm welcome to Africa at Play.
Good afternoon, Neto. Good afternoon to the listeners at home. I'm pleased to be here this afternoon yet again, dissecting beautiful game.
Thank you so much indeed. Yesterday, how did it go at the match between the Natal Rich Boys and the Sea Robbers, with Orlando Pirates booking that special ticket to the most important, much anticipated final coming up on the 6th of December?
It was a beautiful game. It was very beautiful. The atmosphere was very beautiful. And we can just reflect on Coach Wadu's expression after the game. He expressed how proud he was of his boys for being brave on a not-so-easy game. He also highlighted that the team spirit was one of the highlights, which has what kept them together, regardless of the issues that they might have had prior to this game. You will remember that they played Golden Arrows a few days ago, and therefore the match fitness as well as the fatigue somehow took place in some of his boys. So that game was quite a tough game, and he was really grateful that they managed to clinch the win, which put them a final to the Carling Black Label, which was a beautiful thing. And on the other side, when you look at Richards Bay, looking at both halves, when we check Coach Gabriel's comment on the game, he really mentioned that on the first half, Richards Bay didn't take control, which was really a problem to begin with. So they weren't proactive enough. They were merely responding to Orlando Pirates' pressure, which was not impressive for him, and which did not assist in creating scoring opportunity. However, the second half, the tables turned, and he was very impressed with that. They positioned themselves very close at pushing forward. We saw sufficient pressing. They had quick recovery. Some scoring opportunities were created. I guess it's just a matter of that finishing touch. They were not lucky at finishing, but it was quite an exciting game. If you put it in plain sight, you would say the first half belonged to Orlando Pirates because they were very dominant. The second half, it was really tough for them because Richards Bay came back, even though they did not win, but it was quite a good fight.
Quite a good fight indeed. And looking at that match, Nondumiso, I was anticipating an avalanche of goals, like a 3-2 victory kind of a scenario. But it's just amazing how, when it comes to the knockout stage of any tournament, you realize how the two teams would sort of play back to read their opponents and not committing so much to leave a gap behind. And hence, we can only talk about that one goal. But nevertheless, one goal is good enough to win any team that is deserving on the day to move forward with either 3 points if it's a league match or a victory to the next stage of the tournament. Let's move on to action today at the Kinzo Stadium, where Abafana Bestende will be up against Bahlabane Bantwa. That is Golden Arrows versus Marumo Gallants. What are we looking forward to?
To be honest with you, my brother, like you mentioned the goals, and I am looking at the fact that with this particular tournament or competition, which is called in Black Label, Fagi goal is obona, it means more money. So we really want the game to grow, and we want the game to be lucrative as possible. So I was also hoping for goals yesterday, but they didn't come through. Only one came through. That was enough to secure that win. Now, moving forward to today's game, I I am looking forward to more goals because that will mean more money. And other than that, we know the prediction is very straightforward because most of the people, they're looking at the history of these two. They've met a couple of times, and Golden Arrows have dominated this side all the way. And maybe there will be changes going to today's game because you never know. In such cup games, you will find the so-called underdogs dominating and coming up very strong. Also looking at the fact that Golden Arrows is coming from a very strong game against Orlando Pirates in a league game. So obviously, they might have a chance there or two. If they are really brilliant, they will use that chance to at least fight the first fight. But I'm hoping for a good game. The atmosphere is beautiful. People are coming in numbers. The game is about to start in less than an hour from now. We managed to speak to a couple of people. As you can hear, the people are really vouching for their beautiful teams. And obviously, the team that is at home has got more people vouching for it because people of KZN really want to witness this beauty. At least we need to have a win. I am saying we because I'm also from the KZN province. So we really want to experience lifting the cup. So Golden Arrows is the only team that is left in this competition. So I suppose everyone is vouching for Golden Arrows going forward.
Everyone is vouching for Golden Arrows going forward in the KwaZulu-Natal province of South Africa. We are talking to a renowned sport journalist, Nondumiso Mkhize, the ever-energetic and passionate journalist who does her work with nothing but devotion. Let's also talk about the fans. Yesterday, I saw that on my screen that it was a jam-packed Moses Mabhida Stadium, and for obvious reasons that the Buccaneers have quite a number of fans, and hence the stands were fully occupied. Are we likely to experience the same? Because you've touched on the people of KwaZulu-Natal loving this game of football who will be coming in their numbers. Are we likely to experience what we've experienced yesterday?
I think so. The chances are very, very high because I'm seeing people pouring in numbers. Some of them, they're still wearing Orlando Pirate gear. You can tell some of them it's the people that are coming from far away that have come yesterday as well to support Orlando Pirates. And what I love about our people and the fans, they love football. It's not just about club. It's about the game itself. So you can see different colors coming in. So I am anticipating a jam-packed movement. I am anticipating a beautiful atmosphere. I will have to see because at the end of the day, you might, think that you're going to be enjoying the game. Turns out that the team that you support or that you're vouching for gets to lose. However, at this point, I'm very natural. I'm neutral. I'm not supporting anyone. I'm supporting the game, and I'm hoping that we're going to have a blast.
Nondumiso Mkhize from KZN, a sport journalist who is impartial on this one, although I know deep down in her heart she's going with Abafana Bestende for obvious reasons that it is a team based in South Africa's KwaZulu-Natal province with another team from the province in Natal Rich Boys having been shown the exit door by the Buccaneers yesterday. Your score prediction?
I would love to say 2-0 to Golden Arrows.
2-0 to Golden Arrows. There you have it.
Yes.
If it all happens according to Nondumiso Mkhize's prediction, then it means Abafana Bestende will meet the Buccaneers in the Carlin knockout final. Nondumiso Mkhize, always an awesome pleasure talking to you on Africa at Play. Let football win at the Kinzo Stadium.
Pleasure.
14:20 Central African Time. We take a short break. When we come back, we've got a voice note from one of the passionate fans in South Africa, known by Bota, always wearing his green and white overall, even when Siwelele or Bloemfontein Celtic wasn't part of elite football in South Africa. He continued to support them, and now Siwelele FC is back. I'm certain this fan must be an exhilarated man. We'll find out from him after the short break.
África. Conhece o Ntivani?
Claro que sou eu.
Ntivani é o amante da música de corpo e alma.
Eu amo música africana.
Ele aprecia todos os tipos de melodias e passa os seus dias a ouvir a Channel África. Adivinha só, a Channel África quer ajudar o Ntivani e os amantes da música em todo o lado a descobrir ainda mais música incrível. Por isso, a Channel África está a convocar artistas africanos a submeterem as suas músicas. Músicos, lembrem-se de nos dar todas as informações relevantes no music@channelafrica.co.za. As submissões são a vossa oportunidade de ser ouvidos, mas não garantem inclusão na lista. Todas as submissões serão cuidadosamente analisadas para verificar se cumprem os requisitos da nossa estação. Canal África, a perspectiva africana.
14:21 Central African Time. The game between Golden Arrows, Abafana Bestende and Batlabane Bantwa Marumo Gallants is kicking off at 3 p.m. Central African Time, and that match will be broadcast live on SABC1, also accessible at your fingertips on SABC Plus. We've got a reaction from Bota, who is one of the most passionate fans, also referred to as the super fan. When Bafana goes to AFCON like they did in Cote d'Ivoire in the last edition, he was there. And there's another edition of AFCON coming up in North Africa, Morocco. I'm certain Bota will be there, even if it rains without soft porridge. Let's find out what are his thoughts on this upcoming match.
Bottom Silalanga, Marumo Siwerele Samasele. Fan, we are here at Kinzo Stadium to witness a serious game between Marumo Galant and also Golden Arrows. Very big game, semi-final. We're going to face one is going to face Orlando Pirates. We don't know where, but today I see fans are coming in numbers. I'm proud of the people of Umlazi who are supporting our football here in Umlazi in KZN. I'm saying to them, watch the space. Marumo Galant is going to surprise the rest of the people of KZN. What you did to us when we beat us 4-0, we're going to do the same to you today. Marumo Galant all the way. Hela yalo, kale ratoleu. Tabayeu, 3 o'clock, kick off. Tango!
Hello, son. Kalerato Leo Bota, very passionate. I remember a moment when I was covering a match at one of the Free State Stadium, in Bloemfontein, and he was traveling all the way to Velkom. And fortunately, I was also traveling to Velkom, and we traveled together talking all things football. He really loves this game, and we are saying big ups to the fans because this game would be boring without this kind of support. In the Zambian Super League matches that took place yesterday, Muza FC played to a 0-all draw against Zesco United, while Prison Leopards beat Napsa Stars by 2-0. Nkana FC and Power Dynamos in the Kitwe derby that took place at the Levi Monawasa Stadium in Ndola played to a 1-all draw. Nkana scored first and Power Dynamos since equalized, and they shared a point each. Nkwazi FC beat Mines United by 2-1, while Kansashi Dynamos is up against Nchanga Rangers today at 3 p.m. Central African Time. More matches taking place at the same time. Kabwe Warriors versus Red Arrows, Zanaco versus Mfulira Wanderers, while Konkola Blades takes on Green Eagles at 3 p.m. Central African Time. Let's go to the dance floor, and we will be back with more sporting updates about football and different sporting codes. This is Africa at Play as Delil Siashai.
Africa at Play, beautifully, happily marrying sports and music. Africa at Play, beautifully, happily marrying sports and music.
United, we can stand so high.
14:33 Central African Time. You can never argue about awesome sounds of African music. This one is titled So Why, featuring Lourdes Fantunem, Bayete, Papa Wemba, Yusu Ndo, Lakba, and Lucky Dube. This is Africa at Play as Delili Shaya. Let's update you about more sporting action that's happening this weekend, starting with matches in the La Liga that happened yesterday, where Girona triumphed against Alaves by a goal to nil. Sevilla beat Osasuna by a goal to nil. It is narrow margins of victory, I must say. Atletico Madrid scored 3 goals against Levante, and that match ended 3-1 in favor of Atletico Atletico Madrid, while Espanyol went down by 2-0 against Villarreal. And Athletic Club takes on Oviedo at 3 p.m. Central African Time. One more match at 17:15 is Rayo Vallecano taking on Real Madrid. And Mallorca will be up against Getafe at 19:30 Central African Time. While Valencia takes on Real Betis also at 19:30. Celta Vigo versus Barcelona at 10 p.m. Central African Time to wrap up match day 12 in the La Liga matches. Let's also update you about the matches that are taking place in the Nigerian League, the Nigerian Premier Football League, where it's action galore. Nasarawa United takes on Kwara United at 5 p.m. Central African Time, while Wiki Tourist takes on Niger Tornadoes at 5 p.m. Central African Time. Abia Warriors versus Enyimba also at 5 p.m. Wari Wolves versus Ikorodu City, and Enugu Rangers versus Shooting Stars. Kano Pillars have a meeting with Bayelsa United, while tomorrow there's more action at 5 p.m. Kun Khalifat FC versus Rivers United, and Remo Stars, a side that suffered with an avalanche of a loss against Mamelodi Sundowns in the preliminary round of the CAF Champions League. They've now returned home for the domestic league. They are taking El Kanemi Warriors. Plateau United versus Bendele FC also at 5 p.m. Central African Time. This is Africa at Play as Delil Siashaya. Let's return to the dance floor. When we come back, we will bring you up to speed with the latest sports news.
Celebrate life every day. Tune in to Channel Africa. Stay connected through a new website and free mobile app. Africa at Play. Beautifully, happily marrying sports and music.
Ready to connect, innovate, and be inspired? It's all happening at Africa's Tech Festival, where Africa's technology meets the world. From the 10th to the 13th of November in Cape Town, join global leaders, investors, and innovators driving the future of Africa's digital economy. Don't miss the continent's biggest week in tech. Get your pass now at africatechfestival.com.
From football fields to finish lines,
Eliud Kipchoge storms into the history books.
Chemane brings you sports on Africa at Play.
14:40 Central African Time. A very warm welcome if you have just joined us. We are live every Saturday and Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. Central African Time. Please do make time to visit our Channel Africa website, an incredible website indeed that tells you more about Channel Africa, a station that broadcasts to the world in 5 languages: English, Chinyanja, Kiswahili, Portuguese, and French. Also, get in touch with us on our different social media platforms. On Instagram and X is at Channel Africa 1, and the name of our station, Channel Africa, on Facebook. Let's now go to Lusaka, Zambia, where our Zambian correspondent is standing by to introduce our topic of the day, where we're talking all things martial arts on the African continent.
Mixed martial arts is a full contact fighting sport based on striking and grappling, incorporating techniques from various combat sports from around the world. We are asking, what is the state of mixed martial arts on the African continent, and what are some of the challenges that MMA is facing on the African continent? I have with me Henry Shoko, President, Mixed Martial Arts Zambia. Henry, thank you so much for having taken time to talk to Channel Africa. First things first, Henry, what is the state of MMA on the African continent, and what are some of the challenges that MMA is facing?
Thank you very much for this opportunity to speak on the development of mixed martial arts across Africa, and more specifically here in Zambia. And it's a pleasure to share the journey that our sport is on. MMA on the African continent is experiencing one of the fastest growth trajectories of any sport. Across Africa, we are seeing an incredible rise in participation, professionalism, and international recognition. Countries like South Africa, Angola, DR Congo, Cameroon, Nigeria, Zimbabwe, Egypt, and Zambia are building world-class talent. We've seen African athletes become global champions in major promotions like the UFC and PFL, and that success is inspiring an entire generation of young African athletes. Under IMAF, which is the International Mixed Martial Arts Federation, the largest and most established international world amateur governing body that MMA Zambia subscribes to, more African countries are now establishing formal federations, hosting national championships, and sending athletes to continental and world tournaments. Africa is no longer a follower in the MMA world. Africa is becoming a contributor, a competitor, and in many ways, a future powerhouse. Like any rapidly growing sport, MMA on the continent faces several challenges, notably, but may I hastily add, not limited to, financial limitations, inadequate infrastructure, limited access to medical coverage, and even development in rural versus urban settings, shortage of high-performance training facilities, need for more trained officials, referees, and coaches, high travel costs for competition abroad. MMA is a sport that requires a high level of safety, medical readiness, and proper regulations. Not every country has the resources to consistently meet these standards, but the will and the passion are there. The good news is that despite these challenges, the sport continues to grow because Africans have an incredible fighting spirit, disciplined, resilient, and hungry for opportunity.
Henry, what is the state of MMA in Zambia?
In Zambia, MMA is still relatively young, but we are moving at a very encouraging pace. In the last 2 years alone, Zambia has built pathways from grassroots to professional levels, established a national amateur league known as ZNAL, hosted 14 MMA events, which have included 2 events with professional athletes on the card and 1 event with youth athletes on the card. We've also had 3 Zambian athletes signed up to EFC, with Ken Sekeletu winning the interim featherweight belt at EFC 121 in an emphatic first-round TKO victory. We've sent athletes to compete in major continental competitions such as the IMAF Africa Championships, Impact, EFC, and Versus. This year, Zambia was able to bring home 5 medals, with Jalcel Chimbwe and Kilian Lungu getting bronze medals, Mutinta Mwene and Tri Tryford Hampende getting silver medals, and Miracle Chipito getting gold at the Africa Championships. We sent 9 competing athletes to the IMAF World Championships, which were hosted in Georgia this year. Tryford Hampende and Miracle Chipito respectively won a bronze and a silver medal. Our federation has developed and accredited international referees and judges, with Ndudu Mutenta officiating at PFL Africa semifinals in Kigali, Rwanda last month. We've strengthened relationships with federations like MMA South Africa, Angola, and DRC. The potential is enormous, but to unlock it, we must address the barriers that slow down our growth. Financial challenges are the single biggest obstacle to developing MMA in Zambia. These include issues such as venue hire for events, equipment and gear, athlete and gym insurance, travel costs for athletes and officials, development of proper MMA gyms, youth outreach programs, high performance training infrastructure is also needed. However, the sport, it's fair to say that the sport is expensive to run safely and professionally. Many countries rely on corporate partnerships, government support, and international collaborations. And guess what? Zambia is no different. On infrastructure, all MMA gyms in Zambia are privately owned and lack full MMA equipment. We still don't have a dedicated national training center or high performance center for combat sports in Zambia, but we are working every day to bridge that gap.
Let's talk about talent identification. What is your strategy on talent identification as MMA Zambia?
Talent identification is one of our biggest priorities. Zambia has incredibly gifted young people, not just in Lusaka, Kitwe, and Kawe, where we currently have gym stations, but also in rural districts where opportunities are limited. Our strategy includes taking the National Amateur League to more provinces, conducting outreach to schools, communities, and youth groups, training local coaches so talent can be developed closer to home, partnering with clubs and NGOs to identify vulnerable youth, and running empowerment programs through MMA and fitness. One of my personal missions as president is to ensure MMA becomes a tool for youth empowerment. Many young people are looking for direction, discipline, and opportunity. And guess what? MMA provides all three. Zambia is full of natural fighters. We just need to go out there and find them. We have a handful of female athletes training in Zambia, but nowhere near what can be considered an acceptable ratio to male athletes. The success of our 2 first ladies of MMA in Zambia, in Mutinta Mwene and more especially Miracle Chipito, who is ranked number 1 in Africa and among the top in the world under IMAF, has inspired more female athletes to join the sport. We are also on a strong drive to bolster our Women's Commission under MMA Zambia, which will focus primarily on female athlete development, safety and welfare, gender inclusion, empowerment programs, and creating a pipeline for female officials and coaches. It's important to remember that MMA is not just a men's sport. It's a sport for everyone.
Henry, what is your appeal to the Zambian government and the corporate world?
To the government of the Republic of Zambia, particularly the Ministry of Youth, Sport and Arts, through the National Sports Council of Zambia, we are eternally grateful for the support so far. But MMA needs a stronger partnership with the government if we are to fully unlock Zambia's potential. We therefore appeal for greater recognition of MMA as a developing sport, greater support for international travel for our national team, investment in training facilities and equipment, access to district and provincial sports infrastructure, facilitation of key meetings with our security wings, and collaboration on youth empowerment programs. Equally, to the corporate world, I want to say this very clearly. MMA is good for business. Gone are the days where MMA was considered a dangerous blood sport. MMA federations around the world are working closely with their national Olympic committees to have MMA recognized as an Olympic sport. And we as MMA Zambia are deeply entrenched in this drive. Miracle being awarded the President's insignia for meritorious achievement is a clear endorsement of the sport in Zambia by His Excellency President Hakainde Hichilema, and further justifies why corporates should jump on board now. Our athletes are disciplined, inspirational, and carry Zambia's flag with dignity. We attract large audiences from all walks of life, both online and at events. Supporting MMA means supporting youth empowerment, female inclusion, community development, national representation, and the fastest growing watched sport globally. Companies that come on board early will grow with the sport and our federation and gain massive brand visibility. In closing, closing, mixed martial art brings discipline, opportunity, and hope, especially to young people who need direction in life. It's a way of life that guarantees multiple health benefits to those wanting to use it as a way of staying active and fit, transcending all ages, sexes, and cultures. MMA in Africa and in Zambia is on a powerful upward trajectory. The challenges are real, but the passion is stronger. With the right support, Zambia can continue to produce world champions, world-class officials, and a thriving combat sports ecosystem. As president of MMA Zambia, my commitment is to build on the strong foundation my predecessor and others left, continue to open doors for our athletes, provide an enabling environment for all stakeholders, and ensure that Zambia becomes a respected force globally in the MMA spheres. I cannot achieve this on my own, so humbly appeal to MMA Zambia stakeholders to reach out to the federation, roll up your sleeves, and get stuck in with me and our federation.
Henry, thank you so much for having taken time to talk to Channel Africa.
I thank you once again for this opportunity.
Henry Shoko, President, Mixed Martial Arts Zambia, talking to us on Channel Africa. I also spoke to Miracle Chipito, who was recently awarded presidential insignia for meritorious achievement by the President of the Republic of Zambia, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema. And my phone interview with Miracle Chipito went on like this. Thank you so much for having taken time to talk to Channel Africa. We are talking about mixed martial arts. This is a sport. Some of our people out there, they want to know, what is mixed martial arts?
Okay, so mixed martial arts, it's a combat sport which is widely known. I can also define it as a combination of different arts like judo, karate, boxing, and kickboxing, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and wrestling. That's what forms mixed martial arts.
Let's come back to the nitty-gritties of this interview. Coming back to Africa, what is the state of mixed martial arts on the African continent?
Oh, that's a good question. Honestly speaking, on African continent, mixed martial art is really growing quickly. And believe me, the platform is really massive. You know, those days, back in the days, mixed martial art wasn't really popular in Africa. Maybe in a few countries, but I think mixed martial art is really growing so quickly. And right now, I feel like mixed martial art in Africa, from now on, like maybe in the next 2-3 years, you see a lot of champions, female champions, and male champions, competing on UFC, PFL, Bellator, because mixed martial art is really taking over in Africa.
Talking about girls and women taking part in the mixed martial arts, how has been the response from the girl child out there in Zambia? How have they taken this sport? Are they participating fully when it comes to mixed martial arts?
I think right now the only two female who are active in Zambia is only Miracle, which is me, and Mchinda. Since the time we started mixed martial in Zambia, these are only two active female fighters. But yeah, in some other gyms, there's some girls who joined recently, and I'm looking forward to see if these girls are going to compete, if they will be given a chance to compete in this coming tournament on 13 December, because on 13 December we'll be having a ZNL. So I'm looking forward to see if these girls are going to take part and compete, because in Zambia it has been difficult to find girls to join mixed martial arts and to have them feel like comfortable fighting, because it takes a lot of courage and self-confidence for you to compete. So it hasn't been easy for me and the other girls. It hasn't been easy, but we are pushing. We can't be, because no girls are joining from Zambia, But I think there's a lot of girls who have joined recently, and I can't wait to see them participate.
Talking about few girls who have shown interest in MMA, what is stopping young girls to come forward and participate in mixed martial arts?
Honestly, I think the answer is so simple, because everything you need to do in life, you need to have confidence. You definitely need to have self-confidence of knowing that, okay, am I able to do it or I can't? It's MMA. I think the other reason why most of the girls, they don't really feel like participating in MMA can benefit them and grow their career, it's because most of them, they're used to boxing. So you'd find that most of them, they're like, we just need boxing, because boxing is so common than MMA. But and I think fear as well. There's always a fear of saying, if you join a combat sport as a female, your body will change. You never get married. Everything, the physical appearance is going to be a very big difference on ABCD. But honestly, I don't know. I think those are the things that is playing the lose in most of the girls, and also self-confidence. I think they are lacking self-confidence. But we try pushing until we see most of them. That's why me and Tinta were here as a role models to show them that any girl can step in and still be a girl.
Talking about competitions, which competitions have you participated in? You've represented this country. Have you represented Zambia internationally, and if you have done so, which ones?
Most of my fights in I think in Zambia I only fought once, and then most of all my competition I've been doing them international. I've been representing Zambia at the international level most of all my fights apart from the first fight. So I've competed on Versus, I've competed on AC in South Africa. Versus is also in South Africa. I've competed on IMAF African Championship, that was 2024 in Namibia. I've competed on IMAF, that was 2024 at World Championship in Uzbekistan. I have also recently competed early this year in Congo. I competed there, and again I competed in IMAF African Championship in Angola, Rwanda, and also IMAF World Championship in Georgia, Tbilisi.
This sounds so good. You should be able to motivate a lot of young girls out there. And what is your word of appeal, word of encouragement to any young girl? Let me say women folk out there. What can you tell them, those who are listening to you right now?
Honestly speaking, the biggest word I would encourage the girl child out there, the females, ladies or women, believe me, there's no limit to what you can do in this world. God gave us power and strength to do everything that a man can do. I feel like they just need to look at me, they need to look at my story, where I started from and where I am now. It's all because of confidence and passion, and it's also having that great passion about wanting to change the life of young girls, wanting to put yourself on a high state level to show the world that women can do it. My word for the girl child: do not be intimidated and do not let anyone to trick fear in your head and say if you start a combat sport today you never get married. That's a total lie. If you start a combat sport, your body maybe a bit, but you still be a woman. Your body is about how you maintain it and how you want your body to be looking. Those who want to be looking like guys, because it's their preference. If I wanted to be like one, I would have been, but I'm a girl and I still want to represent my girl child, as a girl. There's nothing that is going to change Miracle and stop Miracle from being a girl child. So, you can have your education, you can go to the university, but you need to create something bigger than you. You need to have that passion of creating something which is bigger than you, something that is going to be a legacy. Even if you die today, tomorrow, it's something that people will never forget.
On a personal level, what are some of the challenges that you have encountered from the time that you joined the MMA?
My personal level, I've counted a lot. There's always criticism. Criticism is always going to be there. And also, there are those who still feel like I haven't done enough. Honestly, I don't really care because my work is showing. It's fighting. It's not about something you do in private. It's something you do publicly. And there's a lot of criticism of, you find people like, why are you doing this as a girl child, the ABCD? And there's something that I've been facing. But, I wouldn't have been here if there was no that criticism because, it's more like a fuel that is pushing me to be on the highest stage. So I've faced a lot of criticism and some of the things that I can't really say on media. But, I'm good to go and I'm still going forward.
Your word of appeal to the government and companies that are operating in Zambia?
MMA, as we all know, MMA, it's a new sport in Zambia. Probably it has been operating for 5 years. And, but it's the fastest growing sport so far. And, it has a massive support on social media. And so my appeal to some of the organizations and some other companies, also to the Ministry of Support, please do not stop supporting MMA. You should continue supporting MMA because, there's a lot of talent in Zambia. Through supporting these young ones, these young athletes who are thriving and working so extra hard every day, there's a lot of, discipline and the opportunity of earning income to change their lives. There are those who haven't been gone to school because they don't have, sponsors. They have never had talents to take them to school. But, through this combat sport, I see a lot of athletes gaining a lot of income and changing the perspective of the world. My appeal to the Ministry of Sport, please continue supporting mixed martial arts. Continue to support those young athletes who are coming in us. Continue to support us and who make sure to train hard and to put our country on the highest level.
Miracle Chipito talking to us on Channel Africa. We were looking looking at the mixed martial arts, and we were asking what is the state of mixed martial arts on the African continent and what are some of the challenges that MMA is facing in Africa. We had Henry Shoko, President, Mixed Martial Arts Zambia, and Miracle Chipito, who was recently awarded the presidential insignia for meritorious achievement by His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zambia, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema. For Channel Africa Sports, Namchana from Zambia.
14:59 Central African Time. Thank you to our correspondent based in the beautiful city of Lusaka in Zambia, Namuchana, talking all things the state of martial arts in Zambia and the African continent, speaking to the president of martial arts in Zambia and a female fighter, Miracle Chipoto. This is Africa at Play as Delil Shashaya. We are saying goodbye to the first hour of Africa at Play. We got to speak to Nondumiso Mkhize, a sport journalist who is at the Kinzweli Tennis Stadium, where Bahlabane Bantwa are visiting Golden Arrows Abafana Bestende for the second semi-final of the Kali Knockout. And of course, the winners will book a date with Orlando Pirates as Mnyamangenkani for the Kali Knockout final. We will be talking to our bundle of joy in sport, that is Lesedi Lamola, who is a tennis sensation in the second hour.
Catch your latest scores and sports highlights. Stay tuned to Africa at Play with Neto Chemane on Channel Africa, the African perspective.
15:01 Central African Time. A very warm welcome to Africa at Play. If you have just joined us, we are live every Saturday and Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. Central African Time on DSTV Audio Bouquet Channel 802 or OpenView 628 if you are based in South Africa. If not, worry not, you can connect with us online from any corner of the world on channelafrica.co.za. Also available at your fingertips and on SABC+. My name is Neto, Neto Chemane. We will be talking to a 10-year-old South African tennis prodigy, Lesedi, who dominates the sport nationally in her age group. She has already achieved a lot in tennis at a tender age. Lesedi has been to Europe, Croatia, Italy, and France to compete and train. She was invited by the world and renowned Moratoglu Tennis Academy in France to participate in the International Talent Identification Program called Champ Seed. And this is going to be a very incredible conversation with Lesedi Lamola, who's been to countries that many of people listening to this conversation have never been to. And that is the power of sport. It opens up doors. It opens up opportunities to travel to many countries that you never thought you would travel to.
Channel Africa's Africa at Play is a bundle of joy in sports with Neto, Neto Chemane.
15:02 Central African Time. We now welcome to Africa at Play a 10-year-old tennis sensation, Lesedi Lamola, who's been to Europe, to countries like Croatia, Italy, and France to compete and train there. And I'm certain she came back with incredible experience. Lesedi, good afternoon and a warm welcome to Africa at Play.
Thank you, everyone, for having me.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good, and you?
I'm doing good. Talk to us about your journey in tennis. At just 10 years, you've already been to a number of countries in Europe. When did you start playing tennis?
I started playing tennis at the age of 3.5.
3.5?
Yes.
I like how you say 3.5. Exciting indeed. And do you remember what year it was?
I think it was...
So we are in 2025?
2019, I think.
2019.
Yeah.
Exciting indeed. And what drew your attention to tennis?
It's a long story. So my brother was playing soccer, and like I was jealous that my brother was playing soccer, and I wanted to do a sport. So he was training at Pirates Club, and like these tennis courts next to Pirates Club, and me and my dad were taking a walk, and I saw the tennis courts. I'm like, oh, what sport sport is this? I really want to play it. And my dad was like, it's tennis. Do you want to play it? And after that, the next day, my dad bought me a tennis racket and tennis shoes. Then the first time I went on the court, I loved it.
Exciting indeed. I'm just moved by the fact that at the age of 3, because even if you were 3.5, but for as long as you haven't turned 4, you were still 3. So at the age of 3, you could already tell that my brother is playing soccer. I also want to participate in sport. And driving around, walking around, you saw tennis courts and you were interested to know what is the sporting code. It is exciting indeed. And well done for choosing tennis. You see, tennis is taking you places.
Thank you.
What do you like so much about tennis?
Like ever since I've been in the court, I felt free. I felt like this is where I belong. Like I love to compete.
What do you enjoy the most when playing the sport? Do you enjoy serving? Do you enjoy smashing? What do you enjoy the most?
I enjoy my forehand because I love to be aggressive.
Oh, exciting indeed. And when last did you play a tennis match?
When last did I play my tennis? I think it was on Thursday.
On Thursday. How did it go?
It went good. I won.
You won?
Yes.
Wow. What was the final score?
The final score was 6-2, 6-3.
6-2, 6-3. So you were dominating that match.
Yes.
Who were you playing against?
I was playing against this girl. I forgot her
You
name.
forgot her name.
Yeah.
Nah, nevertheless. And did you feel like it's a one-way traffic where you having things your way, or did she give you a bit of a challenge?
I mean, she gave me a bit of a challenge, but I was able to push through.
Exciting indeed. And from when you started playing tennis at the age of 3.5, as you put it, to now, where you are now 10 years, which means you have 6.5 years experience playing the sport. How do you compare when you started versus now? How were you when you started and how are you now?
I mean, when I started, I was not really good. I was very bad, but like I knew you just have to keep on working, then you get there. So look at me now. I'm such a good player.
Such a good player, an international player who's representing not just South Africa, but the African continent in Europe very well. And having played the sport for a number of years, it has now opened doors for you. But you say when you started, you weren't so good as you are right now, which is acceptable because everyone starts somewhere. No one started nowhere. Even your father, I know, he's been driving for years, but there was a time where he didn't know how to drive and he had to learn, you see. So that's how life works. And having learned the sport, how long do you think it took you to master the technique of tennis?
I think I was around 6 when I started like learning all of the things. Like, I know what to do now on the court.
And you know the backhand and the forehand and all of that.
Yeah.
Exciting indeed. Who's your coach?
I have a lot of coaches.
You have a lot of coaches?
Yeah.
Name a few.
There's Ngoni, he's district coach. There's Denton. There is Keegan. There is Bring. There is my big brother Tabiso. He's my fitness coach. Sorry, and yeah.
Wow. How is Coach Brain?
Bring. Oh, Coach Bring, like I really love him. I really connect with him on the court. He's funny, sweet. I really love him a lot.
Oh, so he likes telling jokes as well?
Yeah.
What is this one joke that he told that got you laughing? Do you remember?
When I was young, I don't remember.
You don't remember?
Yeah, but I really love him.
But you remember laughing?
Yes.
Exciting indeed. And if Coach Brain is listening to this conversation, what did you like to say to him?
Thank you so much for making me be the best player ever.
Exciting indeed. Coach Brain, a very good afternoon and a warm welcome to Africa at Play.
Good afternoon. How are you guys doing today?
We're doing good. I'm just looking at the surprise face of our special guest, our bundle of joy in sport, Lesedi Lamola. She is in disbelief. She never saw this one coming.
How are you doing, Lesedi?
I'm good, thanks. And how are you, Coach?
Very, very good. Are you a little bit nervous?
A little bit, but it's okay.
No, man. I've seen you more nervous than this, and you've handled it way better.
Thank you.
Nah, she's far away from nervous, Coach. Coach, talk to us about this exciting future star in tennis, Lesedi Lamola. When did you meet her?
I've had the fortunate privilege of working with Lesedi for maybe 3 to 4 years now. It's just been incredible for me to witness her journey. And just to be, as she said, she's got a few coaches, but, I just have the privilege of being part of that journey. And I won't even say that I'm the one who first taught her tennis, but at least I'm part of her journey now, really helping tactically. And, tennis aside, I think she's one of the most hard-working individuals that I've had the honor of working with. And, she's never afraid to ask questions. She really tries her best. And, a really bright future ahead. Really looking forward to see what happens.
Really bright future ahead. Those are the words of the mentor to this bundle of joy in sport, our tennis player, Lesedi Lamola. 10-year-old, but already the coach says a bright future ahead. Coach, talking about the bright future, let's also talk about areas of improvement. What are we talking about?
I think technically Lesedi is quite a sound player. She has all the shots and stuff like that. She's quite aggressive, as she says. And I think that can be a weapon, but also can be a little bit of a crutch sometimes. I think she needs to just learn how to be a little bit more patient in certain times. But, she's only 10 and she's still figuring out the tactics and a lot of the mental side of tennis. And, lots of room for improvement, but she's catching up real quick. And, it's just, like I said, amazing to just witness it as well.
Coach Brain on the line. We are talking the game of tennis with our bundle of joy in sport, who started playing the game at the age of 3.5, as she puts it out there, and I found it very incredible. We take a short break. When we come back, we will wrap up our conversation with Coach Brain and continue the conversation with our bundle of joy in sport, Lesedi Lamola. This is Africa at Play.
A atenção do mundo está em Johannesburg. Líderes das maiores economias do planeta reúnem-se para tomar decisões que irão moldar o futuro das nações e dos mercados. O Channel Africa está no centro dos acontecimentos a trazer-lhe as conversas, análises e perspectivas que realmente importam. A cimeira do G20 nos dias 22 e 23 de novembro, sob uma perspectiva africana em tempo real. Acompanhe tudo no Channel Africa.
The world is watching Johannesburg. Leaders from the planet's biggest economies gather to make decisions that shape nations, markets, and futures. You already know, Channel Africa will be right there, bringing you the conversations, insights, and analysis that matter.
The best is yet to come.
The G20 Summit from the 22nd to the 23rd of November. As it happens, from an African perspective, stay tuned to Channel Africa and get all the G20 analysis. From football fields to finish lines,
Eliud Kipchoge storms into the history books.
Chemane brings you sports on Africa at Play.
15:12 Central African Time. This is Africa at Play. If you have just joined us, a very warm welcome. We are talking tennis with our bundle of joy in sport, a tennis player, and we've got a surprise on the line. That is Coach Brain, that got Lesedi Lamola looking at the brother, looking at the parents, looking at me, looking at the lights of the studio, thinking, what's going on here? That's how we roll, Lesedi. Coach, before I let you go, Lesedi has been overseas to a number of countries, including Croatia and Italy. Were you part of those trips, or what sort of journey are we talking about between you and her?
Unfortunately, I wasn't part of those trips, but obviously, I think more and more of those trips will happen as she gets older and more proficient. And, the world eyes are on her now. So, there'll be events and academies across the world that will want to take a look at her. I hope I'm along for the ride with that. And, I can only hope so. So, onwards and upwards from here, guys. I'm looking forward to it.
Coach, there's always a young African out there listening to this conversation who could just be interested in joining tennis. What would you like to say to them?
I think one of the most important things is just believe in yourself. Keep trying. Tennis is definitely not the easiest sport on the planet. No one starts very good at it, much like anything. You've got to put the time, the work, the effort. But, if you do all those things, you can be a great tennis player and a great human being as well.
It took Lesedi Lamola driving around with the father at the age of 3.5 to witness tennis courts, and she was inquisitive to find out what's going on there. What is this sport called? And the father responded by saying, this is tennis. She tried it out. The father supported him, together with the mother, of course, and by going to buy the tennis racket and all the essentials she needed, like the tennis ball. And she got onto the tennis court and loved the sport. How did you meet tennis?
Yeah, a similar story to Lesedi, to be honest. I was at a country club the one day. My dad was playing some golf, and it was a bit too slow for me, so I just took a walk around, came across some tennis courts, and one of the local coaches just said, hey, get on the court. Here's a racket. Let's go for it. And I loved the challenge, and I just kept going for it. So, yeah, very similar story to Lesedi.
Very exciting indeed. Coach Brian, thank you so much for talking to us on Africa at Play. Before I let you go, Lesedi, what would you like to say to the coach?
I like to say it was a very nice surprise for you coming on the radio, and I just want to thank you so much for helping me improve on the things I needed to improve on. Yeah, thank you so much, Coach.
Awesome, Lesedi. It's an absolute pleasure. I can't wait to see what the future holds, girl. And I'll see you on the court soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. Have an awesome Sunday afternoon further.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for having me on the show, guys.
15:15 Central African Time. That's Coach Brian, the mentor to Lesedi Lamola, a 10-year-old tennis player. Lesedi, you are sitting next to your brother. Who is he?
He's a great fitness coach.
And what's his name?
Tabiso.
Tabiso Lamola.
Yes.
The brother to Lesedi Lamola.
Yes.
Interesting indeed. Let's talk about him being your fitness coach. What are we talking about? So he makes sure that you are fit.
Yeah, he takes me to tournaments, he warms me up, he improves on movements that I need to do on the tennis court, and he just helps me every single day. He does call with me, stuff like that.
Exciting indeed. Tabiso, good afternoon and welcome to Africa at Play.
Afternoon. Thank you for having me here.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Awesome stuff. Thank you so much for the support that you give in to your baby sister. I know siblings out there that do not see eye to eye, so it warms my heart when I see siblings that get along, when I see families that are united, because I believe African unity starts with African families uniting, and then anything is possible. What kind of a tennis player is Lesedi?
To put it simply, great human being first. She puts in the work. When I take her to the gym, tennis courts, she's just there. She's willing to work hard. I don't have to force her. She's willing to do it. She's hungry, passionate. So great. I put it simply.
When not talking tennis with her, what do you get to talk about as brother and sister conversation?
Well, I'm not big on the socials, Instagram and TikTok. So she updates me, teaches me 6-7 and all these talks and the TikTok dances. So yeah, she's a good dancer too.
Wow, now we know you're a good dancer too. What's your favorite African song?
Magumba.
Magumba?
Yes.
Okay. So you're going to dance to it if we find it?
Sure.
Okay, lovely stuff. What kind of a brother is Tabiso?
A wonderful brother, kind, caring, loves me so much. He pushes me at fitness, but I just know he's doing it for the best.
Your mama and papa are also here. What kind of parents are they?
Again, wonderful parents. They always support me, my journey and stuff like that. They always love me. They always give me encouragement to go on the court. Every time I'm feeling down, they just remind me, you're the best. Come on, you've got this.
I love it. Between Italy, Croatia and France, where did you first go?
I went to Croatia first to play Dubrovnik Bar.
How did it come about?
It was very good. It was a great experience. I really loved it there.
And except for the great tennis experience in Croatia, what did you learn there that you brought back on a flight back to South Africa with?
I've learned the program there is very tough. They push and yeah.
Is there a strange language that you got there and wondering what language is this?
Oh yeah, every time I was confused when they were speaking their language. So yeah.
Did you try and learn at least a hello in that language?
No.
You didn't?
No.
It was too complicated for your liking.
Yeah.
Interesting indeed. When was this?
it was last year, I think in July?
June.
Yeah, June.
Oh, interesting indeed. And when did you go to Italy and France?
So from Croatia, we went straight to Italy. So it was around July there. Then in France, it was 2025 in April.
Earlier this year.
Yes, earlier this year.
Between the three countries that you've been to, Croatia, Italy, and France, which one did you enjoy the most?
Italy.
Italy?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So you wouldn't mind going back there for pizza?
Yes,
for
the
lunch?
pizza there is so good.
The original.
You. And the gelato there, yo, it was the best.
You had a good time of your life.
Yes.
And in terms of the tennis experience, out of the three countries, where did you feel like it's good to be here in terms of the tennis experience, let alone the pizza in Italy?
I think it was France.
It was France.
Yeah, they have a good program there.
Ah, exciting indeed. And if you get an opportunity to travel more, what are some of the countries you would like to visit?
I like to go to Italy again, and also I would like to go to America to go to Ricky Macy Academy, and yeah.
Do you have a favorite tennis player who's playing professional?
It used to be Serena, but now I think it's Coco Gauff.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
That's a good choice. What do you like so much about the two?
I mean, they like to be aggressive. I just like Coco. She's a good player. Yeah.
Do you think she's aggressive like you?
No, I'm more aggressive.
So she can learn a thing from you, né?
She can.
Coco Gauff, there you have it. You've got to learn from Lesedi Lamola how to be aggressive on the tennis court to make certain that you walk away the victor. What school do you go to and what grade are you in?
I go to Iska Wanderers and I'm in grade 4.
In grade 4. Definitely going to grade 5 next year, right?
Yes.
What's your favorite subject?
My favorite subject is English and Science.
English and Science.
Yes.
Wow, exciting indeed. 15:20 Central African Time. We take a short break here. We'll wrap up our conversation with the tennis sensation, Lesedi Lamola.
Mornings made better with Peter and Asanda on Rise and Shine. Weekdays, 6 till 9.
The South African Medical Association, SAMA, has officially suspended all relations with the Israeli Medical Association, a move welcomed by healthcare workers for Palestine, South Africa. The organization says this decision represents a powerful stand for medical ethics, justice, and human rights, echoing the global call for solidarity with Palestinians.
And recently, we've also seen other national associations, such as the British Medical Association, Turkish. They've released quite strongly worded statements, although none have gone as far as SAMA to cut ties with the Israeli Medical Association, as well as to call for the suspension from the World Medical Association. It's a watershed moment that an organization has actually taken this step. And it's not an idle threat. SAMA is a member of the World Medical Association, and they can action this resolution by bringing it before the World Medical Association.
Dr. Sadiq Mullah, chairperson of Healthcare Workers for Palestine, South Africa.
Mornings made better with Peter and Asanda on Rise and Shine. As Africa at Play is a bundle of joy in sports with Neto, N-E-T-O, Chemane.
15:22 Central African Time. If you have just joined us, a very warm welcome to Africa at Play. We are wrapping up an incredible tennis conversation with a 10-year-old tennis player, Lesedi Lamola from South Africa. She's been to Croatia, Italy, and France. She enjoyed the pizza in Italy. She would like to go back to Italy for the pizza and many more experiences in tennis. She would also like to visit America and many other countries out there. Exceptional indeed. As we wrap up this conversation, Lesedi, what would you like to say to your classmates?
My classmates, what would I like to say to them? I would like to say to the people who kept on supporting me, thank you very much. Like, they've been my friends from day one, and all of them, I really love them. They're very good friends.
What would you like to say to mommy and daddy?
Thank you so much, and like, without you guys, this journey wouldn't be possible.
Wow, exciting, sweet and short. This journey wouldn't be possible without them, ne?
Yes.
What is this one thing that mommy once told you that you've never forgotten?
One that I've never forgotten. So it was this one time I was playing a match. I was feeling down. I was like, I don't know if I can do this. And my mom said, don't worry, just beat this girl. Do it for me. You've got this.
And you did just that.
Yeah, and I ended up beating her. So
you see the power of words.
Yes.
And also the connection between you and mommy, you and daddy.
Mm-hmm.
Exciting indeed. Thank you so much for pulling through to Africa at Play. Your Makumba song is finally ready. I want to see you on the dance floor.
Thank you.
Funale stash. Asfuna mamita. Asfuna mabita. Asfuna makumba. Sonke. Asfuna makumba. Iyawele. Makumba. Kumba. 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 Iyawele. Makumba. Kumba. 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 Iyawele. Makumba. Kumba. 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 Iyawele.
(15:28) Central African Time. That's how we wrap up our conversation with our bundle of joy in sport, Lesedi Lamola, who has been to Croatia, Italy and France doing the most under the umbrella of tennis in South Africa. And she's just 10 years. She started playing the game at the tender age of 3.5. But she's still at it, making certain that she represents South Africa and the African continent very well. It's time for sports news. Kicking off with football news, Nigeria and Werder Bremen striker Victor Boniface insists his main goal is to help Bremen win games and not just scoring goals as an individual. Boniface joined Bremen in September on a season-long loan from Bayer Leverkusen. Speaking to SABC Sport, Boniface says he now understands that football has its ups and downs, and he knows if he does well with the team, he will eventually find the back of the net for Bremen.
Yeah, football is like life, sometimes you have this good moment, sometimes you have the bad moment, but the most important thing for me is how to find the right way, it's not just about me scoring also, it's about the result of the team in general. I can be scoring and we are losing. I don't want that, so I want the situation when we are able to win games, and when we start winning games, then the goals will come.
Boniface suffered ACL injuries in the 2018-2019 and again in 2020-21 season. His injuries unfortunately cost him to miss 14 games last season with Leverkusen, and the Nigerian says he hopes to remain injury-free at Bremen.
For me personally, to try to play the whole season without injury, and when I signed here, I made it clear to the media and said before that as a football player, I don't have an aim like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do this. I just go and how it goes. The most important thing for me, myself, is to try and help the team in any way, score goals, assist, and play injury-free season. And for the team, we try to achieve something good also, so we see how it goes.
The 24-year-old was part of Xabi Alonso's squad that won the Bundesliga and the DFB Pokal in 2024. He also scored 32 goals and has 12 assists for Leverkusen in 61 appearances. Asked if he deals with negativity, Boniface credits his mental strength to his challenging childhood.
Like you said, I'm young. I grew up with my grandparent, and so I'm used, African, when you are living with your grandparents, you know how difficult it is, So from there, and I've been to so many countries which in my life I will never dream or expect myself to go and play football, I've been there. So from Norway, from North Cyprus, these places I've learned a lot. Even though I know I was young, but I learned a lot from all this. And like you said, the media are like people like us who put different news online without knowing the real facts, And me, I'm the type of guy, I don't let those disturb me, I focus on how I'm gonna get better, When you start thinking about what people or what the media opinion on you, then I think that's on you. But me, some are good. Of course, some are good when you hear like some motivate you, But like for me, example, my head is strong, my mentality is really, really strong. I don't really care what you speak on the media.
Boniface says he's still getting to know his teammates at Bremen and believes that they can achieve something together while also guiding young players in the club.
Like you said, I won the league with Leverkusen. How good the team is. This is like when I came, it just really happened so fast. Like the impact of each and everybody, And Bremen, I came here. I've been here for like a couple of weeks, and I'm getting to know, a few players, the way they play, because it's not that easy for you to just come into the team. And sometimes it clicks, sometimes it don't click, But the most important thing is for we keep to work hard, keep doing what we've been doing, and try to the experience from other players and the experience from me also to try to help the young ones also, But we're looking forward for the season, and hopefully we can achieve something.
In cricket news, Proteas fielding coach Wandile Gwavu says they have no regrets about batting first in the third ODI against Pakistan in Faisalabad, despite losing by 7 wickets. After winning the toss, South Africa managed just 143 in 38 overs, with Quinton de Kock the only player to pass 50. Pakistan chased down the total of 25 in 25 overs, sealing a 2-1 series win. Gwavu admits they expected criticism, but stands by the decision.
I think it's always the case when you get bowled out for 140. Those questions are always going to come up. But having taken everything into consideration, second game being played there, and also the first game we played, there was just no dew at all. Second game, there was a bit of dew. I'd love to also think that Pakistan were also not sure what to expect on that on the third game, also on the wicket. So I think we made the right decision. It's always going to be a question of had we got 250, 260, how would they have batted in the second innings? So I think we made the right decision.
Kwavu feels they were also justified in suspecting that the wicket would be a lot tougher to bat out in the second innings, with the Pakistan batters finding it difficult to score later on.
I think the difference was the 2 wickets. I think the second wicket played completely different compared to the third wicket. As said before, coming into the third game, we knew that it was a used wicket, which is the reason why we opted to bat first after winning the toss. We felt that it was going to get more difficult in the second innings, which it showed at the back end that with a lot of spin, also sharp spin, it was a bit difficult, but unfortunately we didn't have enough runs on the board.
Kwavu admitted that they found the going tougher than they expected at the Iqbal Stadium, and also that they did all they could to post a decent total on a challenging day in the office.
Quite challenging. I think more challenging than what we expected. Looking at the first game that we played, we always knew that playing a second game on a used wicket was always going to be challenging, but we found it more challenging than what we saw in that first innings. But with that being said, we tried our best to give ourselves a good chance of posting a good total, but it was not enough at the end of the day.
He also explained what exactly South Africa struggled to deal with, while also crediting the Pakistani bowlers for their controlled spells.
Well, spin. It was spinning. It was spinning quite a lot, and I think Pakistani bowlers, you got to give credit to them. They asked the right questions. They were more accurate, I think, today compared to the first day, where the first match, they tended to bowl quite wide for a very long time, where today they were hitting the stumps quite more often and asking quite a lot of questions from us.
And also Bafana assistant coach Owen Dakama says he is impressed with how the Botswana Premier League continues to grow on the pitch. Dakama was speaking to SABC Sport after his side's Lions FC narrowly lost 1-0 to one country's biggest teams, Mochuchi Center Chiefs, in Gaborone last night. New Zealand survived 3 yellow cards and second half onslaught to maintain their unbeaten record against Scotland by edging a game for the Edges 25-17 at Murrayfield. The visitors looked to complete control at the end of the first half that was bookended by tries from All Blacks backs Cameron Roygatt and Will Jordan. The visitors' second score came with Scott Robertson's side reduced to 14 as a result of Leroy Carter's sin in being for a clinical trip. Baden Barrett also knocked out a penalty give in the All Blacks commanding 17-0 lead at the interval. Yet when the clock hit 51 minutes, Scotland were just 3 points behind thanks to scores from Iwan Aswen and Kyle Steyn that had Murrayfield rocking. That's how we wrap up our sports news. We take a short break. When we come back, we'll connect with the Encyclopedia of Global Athletics, Keshom Sejinyati.
Channel Africa, the African perspective.
Africa at Play, beautifully, happily marrying sports and music.
As the festive season draws near, the athletics world has wrapped up an action-packed year highlighted by the World Championships in Tokyo, Japan. Now attention shifts to Monaco, where selectors are finalizing the 2025 World Athlete of the Year awards. From track to field and out on the roads, the best of the best are in the spotlight. To break it down is our main man, the Encyclopedia of Global Athletics, Sejinyati, who's joining us from the UK with the latest. Seji, good afternoon and a warm welcome to Africa at Play. Seji. We are joined by Keshom Sejinyati all the way from the United Kingdom, but battling with that line from the UK. But worry not, we will try and establish a better line with Keshom Sejinyati. Let's go to the dance floor. But before we do that, let's update you about the fixtures that are currently underway in the Premier League, where there's matches that took place yesterday and more action today. Yesterday we had matches like Tottenham up against Manchester United that played to a 2-2 draw, while Everton triumphed against Fulham by 2-0. West Ham United, the Hammers, hammered Burnley by 3-2. Sunderland and the Gunners of London, Arsenal, played to a 2-2 draw. Chelsea triumphed against Wolves by 3-0. Crystal Palace takes on Brighton and Hove Albion at 4 p.m. Central African Time. More matches taking place at the same time. Aston Villa versus AFC Bournemouth, while Brentford, the Bees, are up against Newcastle United. Nottingham Forest, the Tricky Trees, will have a tense meeting against Leeds United. Manchester City will be up against Liverpool in what is referred to as the big match of the Premier League this weekend, and that match is slated for 18:30 Central African Time. Let's go to the dance floor.
9 to 12 midday Central African Time. On the move with Palisa Tau and Benjamin Mushatama.
Now, when you go to the hospital, there's medical attention that you need, and that's the only experience you're expecting to have. If you are a transgender person, sometimes those experiences can be marred by the demand of trying to understand your gender, your sexuality, and not particularly getting the assistance that you need.
One time, I was sexually abused by someone who used to live next door to my house. So when I went to the police to report, I was in a weave, I was wearing a dress, and when I got there, the police person that helped me said to me, obviously we're gonna rape you because why do you walk around looking like trying to be a woman when you are a man? And after that, the person just walked scot-free.
How do you deal with that? Because there's a double barrel abuse there. So it's not even double barrels, there's kind of multi-dimensional forms of abuse.
I think one thing that I will tell you about trans people is we are strong, not because we want to be strong, but because we don't have an option. It is what it is. Because the struggles that we face each and every day are like unimaginable.
Keeping you on the know and on the move. 180 minutes on the world of sports and music. That's Africa at Play with Neto, N-E-T-O, Chemane on Channel Africa from an African perspective.
Everyday temptation, baby, yo, I just wanna kiss on you. I just wanna kiss on you. I don't wanna cheat on you. Everyday temptation, baby, yo, I just wanna spend on you. Come here, make I spend on you. Oh, no, don't let me cheat on my woman, no, no. I try, you know, see, I try. Don't let me cheat on my woman, no, no. I try, yeah. Look at that face, look at that bum bum, look at that waist. What a bum bum, baby, my taste. What a bum bum, baby, my grace. Look at that face, look at that bum bum, look at that waist. What a bum bum, baby, my taste. What a bum bum, baby, my grace. It's amazing. Tell me what a man could do. Everybody want a piece of me. Tell me what a man could do. It's amazing. Tell me what a man could do. Everybody want a piece of me. Tell me what a man could do.
Say you love me, scatter. I know you see this backer, and I go make you never want another woman. Cause I'll be crossing the border. Give you my love on a platter. Ora me chea, me da energy. Na wo pese wo do me ya enjoy me oh. Biana me so ya me ya kumadiko. Da bena o beba, dona da bena o beba, da bena o beba, dona da bena.
Look at that face, look at that bum bum, look at that waist. What a bum bum, baby, my taste. What a bum bum, baby, my grace. Look at that face, look at that bum bum, look at that waist. What
15:43 Central African Time. Cheat on You by Kidi featuring Kaiki. Thank you for choosing Africa's number one, Africa at Play. We've reconnected a line with our UK-based correspondent, Kesham Sajinyati. We will have a conversation with him in just a moment. As the festive season draws near, the athletics world has wrapped up an action-packed year highlighted by the World Championships in Tokyo, Japan. Now attention shifts to Monaco, where selectors are finalizing the 2025 World Athlete of the Year awards. From track to field and out on the roads, the best of the best are in the spotlight. To break it down, it is our main man, Kesham Sajinyati, who joins us from the United Kingdom with the latest.
The race for the 2025 World Athlete of the Year titles is almost over, with two finalists in each category eagerly awaiting the big announcement on 30 November in Monaco. In the men's track category, it is a thrilling face-off. Noah Lyles of the USA, the sprint sensation, up against Kenya's unstoppable Emmanuel Wanyonyi, the 800 meters powerhouse. It is a clash too close to call. Kenya's dominance continues in the out-of-stadium awards, with marathon stars Sebastian Sawe and Perez Chepcheshe both in contention. Meanwhile, Tanzania's Alphonse Simbu, fresh off his World Championship gold, also stands tall among the finalists. In the men's field events, Swedish pole vault king Mondo Duplantis goes head-to-head with Italy's young long jump sensation Mattia Fulani. On the women's track, it's another showstopper, the ever-consistent Femke Bol of the Netherlands against American 400 meters queen Sydney McLaughlin-Leveron. It's building up to an exciting final when the world's best will finally be crowned. Kesham Sajinyati for Africa at Play.
15:45 Central African Time. We will connect with Kesham Sajinyati in just a moment. Do make time to visit us on our Channel Africa website, an incredible website that is updating you on all things Channel Africa, where we are broadcasting to the world in 5 languages, in English, Chinyanja, Kiswahili, Portuguese and French. Also make time to get in touch with us on our different social media platforms. On Instagram and X is at Channel Africa 1, and on Facebook it is the name of our station, Channel Africa. Let's update you about the Bundesliga fixtures that are currently underway this weekend, where there's matches that took place from yesterday onwards, where Hoffenheim managed to triumph by 3-1 against RB Leipzig. And there was a match between Bayer Leverkusen, who had a good day on the pitch, beating Heidenheim by 6-0 in a one-way traffic encounter. Hamburger SV and Borussia Dortmund played to a 1-1 draw, while Union Berlin and Bayern München played to a 2-2 draw. Borussia Mönchengladbach beat FC Köln by 3-1, and today we are expecting action kicking off at 16:30 between SC Freiburg and FC St. Pauli. VfB Stuttgart takes on FC Augsburg at 18:30 Central African Time, while Eintracht Frankfurt was up against FSV Mainz at 20:30 Central African Time. In the world of rugby, yesterday the Springboks had a good match against France at the Stade de France, winning that match by 32-17, and they will now be preparing to meet against Italy on Saturday the 15th of November at 14:40 Central African Time. There's also FIFA World Cup African Qualifiers playoff tournament that is coming up and slated for Rabat, Morocco, where Nigeria will be up against Gabon and Cameroon will take on DR Congo. The first match is at 1800, while the second semi-final is at 2100, as these 4 African nations have been selected to play in this playoff tournament as the second best finishers in the recently concluded FIFA World Cup African qualifiers, and this is the road to Canada, Mexico and the United States in 2026, where different nations from the African continent and globally will battle it out for the ultimate glory in the FIFA World Cup in 2026. Later in the year is the Africa Cup of Nations that is kicking off in Morocco, North Africa, and it is starting on the 21st of December, and the final is slated for the 18th of January. So it's going to be a football-packed December where people will be celebrating but also enjoying the game of football that will be happening in Morocco. This is Africa at Play, 15:48 Central African Time. We take a short break. When we come back, we will connect with Keshom Sajinyati.
Ahoy, matey!
Captain here to help, right, boys?
Set sail with us on a digital voyage like no other. Channel Africa has a treasure trove of awesomeness. That is our website and social media pages.
Tell me, why are you here?
We want you to be part of our adventure.
The winds are changing, Captain. And this time...
Imagine a world where curiosity knows no bounds, where entertainment meets enlightenment, and where every click leads to the African perspective. Visit us on our website, www.channelafrica.co.za, or follow us on Instagram or on X at Channel Africa One. Go on, like us on Facebook at Channel Africa One. So, spread the word. Tell a friend that Channel Africa's online variety is what they need on the web. Channel Africa, the African perspective. The stories, the scores, the spirit of the game. Catch Africa at Play with Neto Chemane. Saturdays from 2 to 5 p.m. on Channel Africa.
15:50 Central African Time. A very warm welcome to Africa at Play. If you have just joined us, we are together until 5 p.m. Central African Time as we now welcome the Encyclopedia of Global Athletics, Keshom Sajinyati. Saji, good afternoon and a very warm welcome to Africa at Play.
I am perfectly fine, Ned.
Saji, good afternoon and a very warm welcome to Africa at Play.
I can hear you very clearly.
Thank you so much for joining us, G. Let's talk about this highly anticipated World Athletes of the Year awards. At one stage, we were talking a strong representation in terms of nominees on the African continent. Were those nominees pushed aside? Are they still on board?
Some of the nominees have been pushed aside because there's this wide selection process where athletes get chosen. We had athletes like the Kenyan pair of Faith Kipegoni, Beatrice Chebet, who were actually nominees for the track athletes of the year, but they have been pushed aside. But there is a lot of talk. I've seen a lot of social media comments that there is a feeling that Beatrice Chebet should have been included because she did extremely well. But I can say the reason why maybe she was pushed aside is because sometimes we don't get a lot of people from the African continent voting for their athletes. So that is a drawback for her. But nevertheless, we still have some nominees. Paris Jepcheshe from Kenya, a world marathon champion, and won her 5th global title. She is a top contender. One other athlete who was pushed aside also from Kenya is Agnes Ngetichi, who is a world 10-kilometer record holder. But still in contention at the moment, particularly out of stadium awards, you have Paris Jepcheshe is there, and through to Sebastian Sawe of Kenya, and the other athlete is Alphonse Simbu for Tanzania, which shows that Africans are quite strong in long-distance events. So that's the state of affairs at the moment. So the World Athletes of the Year will be chosen or nominated at a special ceremony to be held in Monaco on the 30th of November. Yeah, it's quite exciting. We're really waiting for it. It's good Africa has got a representation as well.
It's good indeed, Saji. You've been privileged to be part of the panel at one stage where you had the right to share your thoughts when it comes to the nominees. And you hear people sometimes feeling like a certain athlete was deserving to be part of these nominees. Talk to us about your experience having been in the panel to share your thoughts when it comes to the nominees. How does this process work?
Yeah, this process, was put in place by World Athletics, they initially nominate a bigger number of contenders in the first place. And then they put it in the open for people to vote, whether social media using Facebook, Instagram, and the like. So it's the people who do the choosing. But behind the scenes, there's a special panel which is headed by World Athletics, which is the governing body of the sport, to actually look into it thoroughly and make a selection. That's how it goes. But sometimes, if they get more votes from the public, it will be difficult for them to change the scenario. Hence, you will have complaints like, how come so and so was the best athlete? Why was he or she not nominated? So that is the process, Nigel.
15:55 Central African Time. And there you have it from Kesham Sajinyati talking all things the World Athletics Athletes of the Year Award that are coming up rapidly. Saji, as the year is wrapping up, what else is exciting in the world of athletics?
At the moment, what is coming up is the World Cross Country, which will be held in the USA next year, which is the World Championship. So that means athletes from all over the continent, they have to work hard and get to qualify, won their provincial championships and the national championships, so that they get selected to go and compete at the World Cross Country Championships next year. So that is what is happening. Cross country is usually during this time of the year when it will be winter, it will be cold. In some other places in Europe, it will be snow and things like that, because a typical cross country event has to be run in tough conditions. And on top of that, the route itself, they put some obstacles, maybe build like a big climb where the athletes have to run over or put an obstacle, sometimes a big log in between, like I saw some years back in South Africa at Stellenbosch when I attended the World Cross Country Championships. They put a big log across the route so that the athletes have to jump over it. And we had a scenario where in the men's competition, Paul Tagat, one of the greatest cross-country runners of all time, was involved in a tie battle with the great Haile Gebrselassie. And when they were jumping over that obstacle, the log, Haile Gebrselassie kicked it and he stumbled and he lost his running rhythm. And as a result, he lost the event to Paul Taggart. But then, in some later years, I spoke to Paul Taggart and asked him. He said, no, Kesham. Even then, even if he had he had jumped over the barrier well, I was going to beat him. That's what Paul Taggart said. So that's the whole thing about cross-country runners. Some obstacles on the way, but it is a challenge that athletes have to do and conquer.
It is a challenge that athletes have to conquer. That is Kesham Sajinya talking to us all the way from the United Kingdom, our UK-based correspondent originally from Southern Africa in Zimbabwe. Thank you so much, Saji, for talking to us on Africa at Play. Have a good afternoon further.
Thank you. I really enjoyed your interview with the Bundle of Joy athlete, 10-year-old tennis player. I really enjoyed it. I think it was a good program, a very special program. I think the kid will keep that, because I had saying she is enjoying to be in studio, and she talked eloquently about what she's doing as a tennis player, and the brother also who is like a fitness trainer. That was excellent, Neto.
Thank you so much, Sergi. Only at 10, and she's already been to 3 European countries, Croatia, Italy, and France. And that goes to show that the sport is indeed very powerful. It opens up opportunities one never thought of. It was an exciting conversation indeed. I've also enjoyed. Thank you so much, Sergi.
Thank you. And also compliments to the coach. That was great.
Thank you indeed. 15:58 Central African Time. That is Gesham Sajinyati, our correspondent based in the United Kingdom. And now you know that he does not just come to the conversation and talk about athletics. He tunes in to Africa at Play as Delele Siashaya. We got to speak to Lesedi Lamola, our bundle of joy in sport, 10-year-old tennis player. And we just spoke to Gesham Sajinyati. And we are now heading to the third and final hour of Africa at Play, and we will kick off the third and final hour with a conversation with Ma'am Geraldine Grobler, who is a baseball player and a baseball coach, as Team South Africa, from a lady's point of view, are getting up for a trip to Zimbabwe. And South Africa and Zimbabwe have a very solid baseball relationship, and this is good for African excellence.
Catch your latest scores and sports highlights. Stay tuned to Africa at Play with Chemane on Channel Africa, the African perspective.
1600 Central African Time, we've officially entered into the final hour of Africa at Play. We're doing this every Saturday and Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. Central African Time. We are kicking off this third hour with a conversation with the sport of baseball. Recently, we've witnessed Tri-Nations African qualifiers for the under-23 men's teams, where Benin and Zimbabwe were in the country, and those matches took place in Boksburg, South Africa's Gauteng province in the east of Johannesburg, as we now welcome one of a special member of Baseball South Africa in Geraldine Grobler, a player slash coach who is now at the moment doing a lot of coaches, and it's good to see that those that have played the game, they always come back on board to plow back to the young generation. Geraldine Grobler, a very good afternoon and a warm welcome to Africa at Play. Hello, Geraldine. It looks like we're battling with that line from Geraldine Grobler, but worry not, we will re-establish a better line with Geraldine Grobler. Let's update you about sporting action that's happening in a different part of the African continent and globally. Let's go to Spain and check the La Liga fixtures that are currently happening this weekend. There are matches that took place yesterday. Yesterday it was a match between Girona and Alaves, and they've triumphed by a goal to nil. Sevilla beat Osasuna by a goal to nil, while Atletico Madrid triumphed by 3 goals to 1. Espanyol went down by 2 goals to nil against Villarreal. Athletic Club triumphed by a narrow 1-0. Actually, that match is on a half-time break, and Athletic Club is leading Oviedo by a goal to nil. There's more action at 17:15. There's a match between Rayo Vallecano up against Real Madrid. Mallorca takes on Getafe at 19:30 Central African Time. Then Valencia will be up against Real Betis also at the same time. Wrapping up the evening will be Celta Vigo against Barcelona at 10 p.m. Central African Time. Let's try one more time. Geraldine Grobler, a very good afternoon and a warm welcome to Africa at Play.
Thank you, Nato. Can you hear me on the side?
Yeah, I can hear you. Thank you so much.
There we go. Thank you for having me, Nato.
Thank you so much indeed. Let's talk all things baseball with the trip to Zimbabwe knocking rapidly. When is this trip happening? I know it is the ladies' team that will be heading to Zimbabwe. What is the significance of this trip?
That's correct, NATO. So we head off to Zimbabwe the 10th to the 14th of December. The whole thing for this is the African qualifiers for the ladies to go through to the World Cup next year in 2026. But we have our young under 18s that are heading to Zimbabwe as well as our senior ladies. So yes, we're gearing up for that right now.
And talking about getting up, I'm certain as a coach, you must be a bit stressful because when you need your ladies on the pitch to prepare for these important African qualifiers for the upcoming World Cup in 2026, you are also faced with players that also have to be in the examination room because of it is that time of the year where learners are busy with their school's exams. How did the exams interfere with play?
So, Nato, that's quite a good question there, and that's something that we've dealt with for many, many years. Unfortunately, schooling comes first before, any sports, and that's kind of what we've put out to the ladies. I mean, obviously, school is very important. Exams has disrupted a lot of our trainings, etc., because obviously the girls need to study on the weekend because, exams are not what it used to be in the olden days where you used to have an exam on a Monday and then on a Friday, say, for example. It now hits the girls Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So, for them to plan around that, it's quite hectic. And the training schedules for SA training are very hectic as well. So the girls, we're 5 weeks away from tournament, and obviously the training schedules get a little bit more hectic. So exams are very interruptive right now, but we're working around it with the girls. So, we don't want to put too much pressure on them from either side. So we work through that.
Regardless of this challenge, will the team be in a good shape ahead of this trip to Zim?
100%, NATO. We actually just came off the field now from SA training. The girls in Cape Town are training hard. The girls in Joburg are training hard. And I think it's more of a little bit of the nerves that are setting in now. It's that little bit of anticipation, not knowing what to expect when we're going to Zimbabwe. We had Zimbabwe come here last year, August, and we're heading out there. So I think it's a little bit of anticipation, a little bit of nerves. I must say for a coach now, when I spoke to the girls after training and just to find out if their excitement is on the same level as mine, and to know that they just as nervous as I am, it's quite exciting at the end of the day.
What's your secret? Because I can imagine a scenario where some of the players are based in other provinces like the Western Cape or KwaZulu-Natal province. Some are based in Gauteng because they are representing the national team, and that makes sense to have players coming from different corners of the country. But I'm certain you end up not having enough time with the team ahead of such an important continental spectacle in these African qualifiers.
100%. So obviously we have the girls in Cape Town which are working hard with one of my assistant coaches, David. So basically we try and follow the same program. So when we're obviously going and leading up to tournament, we're obviously all on the same par. So the girls are doing what they need to do, and with the good coaching staff that I have on my side, it's fantastic that we're all on the same page and we're training the girls in the same way. So basically when the girls do come over and we obviously train together as a squad, we kind of know this is what needs to be done, etc. So the girls are very disciplined in that sense. And like I said, I have a fantastic coaching staff around me. So we are headed in the right direction and gearing up for something fantastic.
Talking about something fantastic, I know there's always challenges when it comes to finances preparing for these trips. What's the latest on the table, having spoken to different parents, as we know that when it comes to baseball, parents have to dig deep in their pockets, although these players are representing the nation, South Africa, but it's just a sad story that, sport, arts and culture and many other stakeholders aren't coming on board to make this a flowing event, because it's one thing having passionate players, but it's also another stressful thing. As a coach, as a mother, you end up being a mother to all the players in the team, although their parents will still come on board to assist in funding these trips. What's the latest in as far as these challenges are concerned?
So the challenges are very real with regards to the funding, Nate. So we obviously have a lot of girls. I mean, we're looking at 12,000 Rand just to go to Zim. That's excluding our uniform. And I mean, our uniform, and we've spoken about this before, we're in green and gold, and just a little bit of a financial point of view where we can just get our uniform sponsored for us as a green and gold so that we're proud of what we're playing for. Besides that, the cost of 12 grand is quite a heavy amount for most of the parents. I mean, we've got, kids that are starting matric next year. We've got, stationery and all of that kind of thing that needs to be taken into consideration as well. So lately, or the latest now currently at the moment, is we have a few girls that are struggling to get the funds. We have got t-shirt sponsorship forms for them. We're trying to put it out the word there for any companies to come on board, etc. We just need that one little bite, just one bite, so that I can get all my girls there. Like you said, at the end of the day, I'm the mother on that team for them. And to not take all my girls through would be sad. It would be very sad. But we are working hard on the funding. We just need that one little fish to bite, and to assist the girls to try and get them there.
Sunday mornings are good mornings where the junior players in baseball gather in Boksburg for different matches in different fields that I got to witness when I came to witness the African qualifiers for the under-23 men's teams. Talk to us about these Sunday mornings. What really transpires when it comes to these juniors?
It's really fantastic, Nato. We do it at a centralized venue, so obviously we get a lot of the support around at the different fields that we play at. So we played Boksburg fields, we played Benoni, we play in Edenvale. So the love is shared between the clubs as well, obviously to try and fund the clubs in that sense. But we have little T-ballers from the age of under 10s, under 12s, under 15s, and under 18s in the junior league that play across, all the different clubs from the different areas play against each other. And it's just it's a big family around here on a Sunday morning. So, it's our church, if you want to call it that. It's our sacred place when we come down to the baseball fields. So we get to watch the juniors play, whether it be under 10s to under 18s, and everybody just supports each other. It's a fantastic Sunday morning out.
Fantastic Sunday morning out when others go to various other destinations. Those that are passionate about the sport of baseball, they go to the baseball fields as early as 9 a.m. There's action taking place in different fields. 16:10 Central African time. We've got a player and a coach in baseball, Geraldine Grobler, talking to us about the state of baseball in South Africa. Also building up to a trip to Zimbabwe, where the ladies are heading to their Southern African arch rivals for the African qualifiers of the Baseball World Cup coming up in 2026. Madam Grobler, please do stay on the line. We take a short break. We'll continue our conversation after this short break.
Perfect.
Zilipendwa na Abedi Jean de la Croix. Leo tujadili kuhusu chipukizi wanaoimba nyimbo za wasanii wengine. Unadhani hili linatokana na nini, Omari?
Nadhani kweli kwamba tukizama muziki ya sasa, hasa wasanii ambao ni chipukizi, kwa kweli kwamba karibu kutoka muziki wao wenyewe, lakini wanakuwa wanapenda kuhubiria muziki ya zamani za muziki ya wengine ambao ni hivyo.
Wengine wanadai kufanya hivyo ni kupromote vipaji vyao haraka ili waweze kujulikana. Je, yawezekana kukawa na ukweli wowote au ndio kukosa kabisa cha kuandika mistari?
Ndio, unaona kwamba msanii anapoazimia kwamba kuchukua wimbo mwingine wa msanii mwingine na kurudia mara mbili sivyo, haionyeshi kwamba ndio wanaanza kazi ya muziki aizani, lakini ukiangalia kabisa asilimia kubwa utakuja kuona kwamba wanakosa ile mawazo ya kutunga muziki.
Zilipendwa kila Jumamosi kuanzia saa 12 kamili majira ya Afrika ya Kati hadi saa 1 kamili majira ya Afrika ya Kati.
Africa at Play with Neto and ETO Chemane.
16:11 Central African time. This is Africa at Play. A very warm welcome if you have just joined us. We are still talking women's baseball in South Africa and the African continent with Geraldine Grobler, with Team South Africa gearing up for a trip to Zimbabwe. And of course, examinations taking place in different schools, still interfering with play. But it is not a bad thing. They will observe those examinations and subsequent to that, get back to the training fields to prepare for this highly important trip where the team is going to Zim for the African qualifiers, hoping for a special ticket to the Baseball World Cup coming up in 2026. Madam Grobler, thank you so much for staying on board. These South African ladies players, they are not just baseball players, but they are like your own children, where you also have to speak to them about issues of life. What are we talking about except for baseball?
Coach, coach, listen to me, Nate, so sorry. It's very difficult when the girls come down to the field. Obviously, everyone has different home lives and they experience something different. Just as an example, I had a girl today, and, when they're coming into trainings, they feed off me. If I'm in a good mood, they're in a good mood. If I'm in a bad space, they're in a bad space. So I never come down to the fields in a bad space. I had, so for example, a lady today, and I could see that she was completely down, and I had to pull her one side, and I said, girl, this is not you. Who are you, and what's happening? And she burst into tears. So there's lots of things that go on with the ladies as well. I mean, there's so many different situations, and they come from different backgrounds, etc. So not only to nurture, but to put her back into a good space onto that field, and you're telling her it's okay. Whatever it is, you can talk to me, and most of the time, a lot of the ladies will come to me and open up to me in that sense as well. So not only being a coach, you have to give the right life lessons back to the girls as well. So you have to be that mentor for them.
Incredible indeed, and thank you for not just being a coach, but a good mentor and a mother to all of these players, because they look up to you, and we appreciate that you go to the field of baseball with a good mood, because you know that a sour mood might just dampen the spirit in camp. We also got to speak to Coach Lial Moritz, talking all things gents baseball. What's the latest in that front?
So the latest in the front there, obviously they won the Zim series, or the African Cup qualifiers. So South Africa did go out with a win. So they get an automatic into the World Cup next year, which happens in November. And all the boys were in high spirits. But also not only that, I think a lot of the boys, they did mingle with Benin, and they did mingle with Zim as well. So we've had a lot of Facebook requests from Benin, from the dads and the moms, saying thank you so much, and it was a pleasure meeting your son, etc., etc. So again, these are friendships that will last forever. Whenever we go over there, the arms are open, as well as when they come to South Africa, arms are open for other countries as well. We love having that experience.
I also got to speak to the Benin coach, Coach Fernando, who was telling me that he started baseball back in Benin 15 years ago, and it warmed my heart to see that it takes one individual who knows about the sport, who can just go to the fields and start recruiting those that might be interested to join the sport. And having seen them play, although they didn't triumph, but just the experience of coming out of West Africa, coming to Southern Africa, I'm certain they've traveled back to the West with good lessons. What are your thoughts on the state of baseball in Africa? Are you confident that it is growing?
So, NATO, I think with the word, like we spoke about the last time, with the word baseball getting out of there, a lot of the African countries are definitely heading in the same way. I mean, we've got Botswana, we've got Uganda, we've got Zimbabwe, we've got Benin that we know about. So the more that these countries, and obviously their neighboring countries, I think as soon as they start getting the word out there, or just having somebody go into that country and start introducing, I think the baseball in Africa will definitely become quite a big sport. So in that sense, it's fantastic to hear that it started 15 years ago. 15 years ago is a dream. When you dream, the dream is far. So that is a fantastic thing that this has now happened, and they were able to travel to South Africa. A lot of these kids, in this sport don't get to travel overseas. So this is also a fantastic way for them to travel and to get to know other countries as well. So I think it's fantastic what he's done, and I'm so glad that it's growing there, and it's probably going to grow, that we're probably going to see them every single year now that we have Africa Cup qualifiers. So that is a fantastic thing, to start making friendships in that way and building the sport is 100% great.
How was the last training with the SA girls, and when is the next one?
So we are training at least once a week now, because obviously all the girls have schools, and obviously that plays a huge role in the training process. So training will be commencing every Sunday from now for at least 3 hours, and the girls they're training hard. Let's just say they're pulling out a bit of a sweat afterwards.
Exciting indeed. Before we say goodbye, your parting shot?
So if anybody is listening out there, we are definitely still looking for sponsors. But please, when baseball, we hopefully that it is obviously televised, and we just appreciate anybody that can watch our games and support our girls. And we go forward, and we're growing every single day.
Geraldine Grobler, player and coach in baseball, very devoted and passionate about growing the sport, not just in South Africa, but on the African continent. And in one of my conversations with her, I also raised the issue of baseball being introduced at a tender age in primary schools so that it grows in the DNA of those that loves the sport. And by the time they graduate to their secondary education, they've already mastered the technique. And I hope and believe that one day we will walk to any school you can think of and they will give us good news that baseball has been introduced. Madam Grobler, always an awesome pleasure talking baseball with you on Africa at Play. Have a great afternoon further.
Thank you, Nate. I appreciate you for having me, and thank you for everything that you're putting out for all the different sports in South Africa. You're an absolute star.
Thank you so much indeed. Have an awesome afternoon. 16:18 Central African Time. You are still tuned in to Africa at Play. We take a short break. We will be back shortly.
180 minutes on the world of sports and music. That's Africa at Play with Neto, N-E-T-O, Chemane on Channel Africa. The world is watching Johannesburg. Leaders from the planet's biggest economies gather to make decisions that shape nations, markets, and futures. You already know, Channel Africa will be right there, bringing you the conversations, insights, and analysis that matter.
The best is yet to come.
The G20 Summit from the 22nd to the 23rd of November. As it happens, from an African perspective, stay tuned to Channel Africa and get all the G20 analysis. AUSISA, the Association of Water and Sanitation Institution of South Africa, is a platform uniting Africa's water professionals. This November, Africa leads the conversation on water and sanitation. Join global and African leaders at the AUSISA Africa and Global South Dialogue 2025 from the 9th till the 12th of November at the Emperor's Palace, Johannesburg. From policy innovation, this is where action meets collaboration for a water-secure future. Register today at ausisa-watersan-dialogue.org or follow at AUSISA on social media. AUSISA, working together for sustainable water and sanitation security in Africa. Live every Saturday and Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. Central African Time.
16:19 Central African Time. A very warm welcome if you have just joined us. This is Africa at Play. Asteleli Siashaya. We got to speak to Geraldine Grobler, who is a player and coach for baseball, and the ladies under 18 team is preparing for a trip to Zimbabwe for the African World Cup qualifiers taking place in November. Recently, we've witnessed the Giants under 23 playing against Zimbabwe and Benin in Boksburg, also gearing up for the World Cup that will be taking place in Central America in November. As we now welcome to Africa at Play, Sir Alan Fritz, the president of Swimming South Africa. Sir Fritz, good afternoon and a warm welcome to Africa at Play. Good afternoon, Sir Fritz. Good afternoon, Sir Fritz. Sir Alan Fritz is the president of Swimming South Africa. We are just still battling with that line from him. Let's try and re-establish this line. Sir Fritz, a very good afternoon and a warm welcome to Africa at Play. All right, we will try and establish a better line with Sir Alan Fritz to talk all things the state of swimming on the African continent. 16:21 Central African Time. If you have just joined us, a very warm welcome. Do make time to get in touch with us on our different social media platforms. On Instagram and X is at Channel Africa 1, and on Facebook the name of our station, Channel Africa. Let's update you about the latest scores in the Premier League. Match day 11 that kicked off yesterday. Tottenham Hotspurs played to a 2-2 draw against Manchester United, the Red Devils, and Everton triumphed against Fulham by 2-0. West Ham United beat Burnley by 3-2, while Sunderland and the Gunners of London played to a 2-2 draw. Chelsea had a good day on the pitch, the Blues beating Wolves by 3-0 in a one-way traffic encounter. Crystal Palace is up against Brighton and Hove Albion. That match has been playing for 21 21 minutes and still no goals scored. Aston Villa and AFC Bournemouth, also that action is ongoing, having played for 21 minutes. Brentford up against Newcastle. 21 minutes of football has been played, still 0-0. Another match that has been playing for 20 minutes is Nottingham Forest, the Tricky Trees versus Leeds United, and the score is currently 1-1. Manchester City, the Citizens, will take on Liverpool. You will never walk alone at 18:30 Central African Time. Sir Alan Fritz, a very good afternoon and a warm welcome to Africa at Play. Mr. Fritz, can you hear me? A very good afternoon, Sir Fritz, and a warm welcome to Africa at Play. Still battling with that line from Sir Alan Fritz, 16:23 Central African Time. We take a short break. We will re-establish a better line with Sir Alan Fritz.
Africa in Business on Channel Africa.
The United States was very vocal at the beginning of South Africa's G20 presidency, and this is largely due to strained relations with South Africa at the time, that they were not really keen on participating. Where do they stand right now?
The US is planning to take over the presidency of the G20 next year, and our understanding from them is that they intend to continue to do so, and therefore it is quite difficult then to be in a situation where you are not attending deputies' meetings or discussions during our presidency and then to take over the presidency next year. From a finance track perspective, there has been engagement. We've been working on a communique last week and this week here in Zimbabwe. What's important about that is that it's a consensus document. And so all the members in the room have to agree to the language that is used there. And our US colleagues have been part of those discussions and negotiations.
Bringing the African markets into your home. Channel Africa, the African perspective. Mornings made better with Peter and Asanda on Rise and Shine, weekdays 6 till 9.
The South African Medical Association, SAMA, has officially suspended all relations with the Israeli Medical Association, a move welcomed by healthcare workers for Palestine, South Africa. The organization says this decision represents a powerful stand for medical ethics, justice, and human rights, echoing the global call for solidarity with Palestinians.
And recently, we've also seen other national associations, such as the British Medical Association, Turkish. They've released quite strongly worded statements, although none have gone as far as SAMA to cut ties with the Israeli Medical Association, as well as to call for the suspension from the World Medical Association. It's a watershed moment that an organization has actually taken this step. And it's not an idle threat. SAMA is a member of the World Medical Association, and they can action this resolution by bringing it before the World Medical Association.
Dr. Sadiq Mullah, chairperson of Healthcare Workers for Palestine, South Africa.
Mornings made better with Peter and Asanda on Rise and Shine. Africa at Play with Neto NETO Chemane on Channel Africa. We are broadcasting to the world about Africa.
16:25 Central African Time. If you have just joined us, a very warm welcome to Africa at Play, the continent's best sport and music destination. Let's try and reconnect with the Swimming South Africa president, Sir Alan. Apologies about that line that couldn't go through earlier on. Mr. Fritz, a very good afternoon and a warm welcome to Africa at Play.
Good afternoon to you and good afternoon to the listeners, and thank you for having me on your show.
Thank you so much for joining us. What is the latest in the world of aquatics in South Africa?
Yeah, it's most probably the best season that we're looking forward to. Over the next couple of weeks, you'll see provincial championships taking place. We then go into January with our junior competitions, level 1, 2, 3, SA junior nationals, and then, of course, senior nationals. In that, we also have our other disciplines of diving, water polo, open water swimming. It's all action, Nato. And this is all in preparation for what's coming. The milestone set for 2028 is, of course, our national championship, FINA short course champion, or World Aquatics short course championships in Budapest towards the end of the year. We also have a big year in terms of Commonwealth Games. We have youth Commonwealth Games, in youth Olympics in West Africa, Dhaka, Senegal. It's a massive year for Aquatics 2026, and there's no doubt in my mind that if you just look at what has transpired over the World Cup series of World Aquatics in the Americas, we came home with quite a number of medals, and we quite chuffed where our athletes are. Peter is on top of his game. Kaylin Corbett is on top of the game. We saw Chad coming back strongly. But our strength, of course, lies in our junior athletes across the 5 disciplines, and we are hard at work to make sure that we make the nation proud. There is also in Angola Africa Youth. A couple of swimmers are going to Africa Youth. We've just come back from Kenya, where they held the African Open Water Championships. First place there. Very excited time for our young athletes that participated in the Open Water African Championships. And of course, there's also Africa Senior and Africa Junior Championships. So it's a very, very busy season for us going into 2026.
It is a busy season indeed, Sir Fritz, with different events happening on different parts of the African continent and globally. Are you impressed with the state of aquatics in Africa? Are we heading in the right direction with all this jam-packed calendar?
Yes, I am very, very impressed. You know, aquatics is up on the African continent. If you look at Zone 3, which is East African Bloc, their championships and the times look improved from the previous year. Ghana hosted the West African Bloc in terms of their championships. We had our own zone championships in Swaziland or Eswatini, and things are really looking good. There were 14 countries that took part in the zonal championships in Swaziland, and yes, I can't believe that the whole aquatics has moved so rapidly on the African continent, and that augurs well for world aquatics. In fact, it's really, you know, world aquatics is a very, very big component of the IOC or the Olympic sports movement, and Africa is taking its rightful place in aquatics.
So Fritz, you spoke about heading to 2026, and we're counting less than 60 days to the brand new year of 2026, which will also mean that the clock is running rapidly towards the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics. And I know that with professional athletes, you are always watching that clock because 2028 is not as far as one thinks.
No, definitely not as far as one thinks. In the life of a professional aquatics athlete, it's most probably 18 to 20 months, a very, very short time to prepare, and there is a lot of preparation that needs to be done. Not only conditioning themselves and preparing the logistics for the athletes, but it's for us to take the athletes to the best competitions in the world to make sure that they do participate against the best in the world, and yeah, it's a lot of hard work.
16:30 Central African Time. If you have just joined us, we are talking all things of aquatics on the African continent with Swimming South Africa President Sir Alan Fritz. Sir Fritz, having seen some of the events that took place from earlier in the year to date and now heading to 2026, what would you say are the highlights, but also the challenges that you are also faced with that keeps you awake in trying to find permanent solutions?
Yeah, there's maybe the highlights for us is, of course, our national championships down in Quebec was a rounding success. Our participation in international events was a massive success for us. We have always come back with silverware, whether it's on a regional competition, continental competition, or on the world stage. We have participated in the World Championships in Singapore. That was a very, very big stage for us, doing exceptionally well. Peter got 3 medals there, and Kaylin Corbett won. It's most probably the best performance in a very long time for us at the World Championships. We participated in junior competition in Europe. We participate in water polo competitions. So what's exciting for us, in whether you talk artistic swimming, or you talk water polo, or you talk swimming, or you talk open water swimming, the athletes are really bringing their part. And for us, some of the biggest obstacles, of course, is funding for athletes. The department has slashed our funding, which will set us back. We are very happy that we've got Bombela Concession Company, the company responsible for Gautrain, has come to the party in a big way and supported us. We are honoring these athletes, of course, at the end of this month at an awards function on the 28th, for those that has performed exceptionally well. But of course, the biggest drawback for us in our country is facilities and funding for athletes, and then making sure that that swimming is the number one podium performer in our country, and sports overall in our country is on the up. If you just watch yesterday's rugby game, you looked at other codes of sport, our country is failing very well in sport, and it's incumbent upon our government and corporate South Africa to support our athletes in a big way, so that we continue to make the country proud.
16:33 Central African Time, and that is exactly what the aquatics fans would like to hear, as Fritz, making the country and the continent proud. Let's also talk about elite swimmers. When you have the elite swimmers, you also have the responsibility to prepare the teenage sensations to fill out that gap in the near future. How well are you making certain that we do not run short of stars that are all well known to South Africans that follow the sport of aquatics, so that when they say we are saying goodbye to the water, yes, we will take a bath on a daily, but we are not going back to the swimming pool. There must be good replacements.
Yes, yeah, you're 100% right. There must be good replacements, and the pipeline is looking good. If you look at World Junior Championships in Romania, came back with the gold medal. I think the big yardstick will be the Youth Championships in Dakar, Youth Olympic Games in Dakar, and we are ready. Although there's very limited slots for athletes there, but our juniors, in fact, if you look at World Championships, look at guys like Chris Smith and the likes. If you look at where Rebecca Mida is today, not a junior, but she's swimming out of her skin. But if you look at all of our junior swimmers, they are really performing exceptional. All of them have very good personal best times, and we're very happy at this point in time that our junior aquatics programs is delivering the goods, and the high performance system is working for us.
We are talking to Swimming South Africa President Sir Alan Fritz on all things the state of aquatics on the African continent. Sir Fritz, thank you so much for fueling us up with the latest. Before I say goodbye, your final remarks?
Thank you very much, Nato. I want to thank you for always creating a platform for aquatics. It's very important on the African continent to create that platform. We have seen aquatics up on the continent, which is very well. We can't do that without media. And I am sure that over the next 8 months, you will see a number of competitions that will showcase aquatics on the African continent and participating in World Aquatics events. And we look forward to the support from not only the aquatics community, but from the sporting community at large.
Swimming South Africa President Sir Alan Fritz, always an awesome pleasure talking aquatics with you on Africa at Play.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me on the show.
16:36 Central African Time. That's how we wrap up our African aquatics conversation with Sir Alan Fritz, the president of Swimming South Africa, who also touched on the state of the sport in Africa and gearing up for the special occasion, Los Angeles 2028 Olympics, that is coming rapidly. As you know that in the world of sport, you participate in one event, before you know it, it's time for the next. Let's go to the musical break with a song titled Africa by Alif Naba. This is Africa at Play.
Live every Saturday and Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. Central African Time.
Song Africa. Sanga wene Song Africa. Tatori nonga. Sanga wene Song Africa. Sanga wene Song Africa. Tatori nonga. Beuna kaviga tukama kakutavye. Winning nanka nikatikuma kakubamye. Lebga sintobo nizamba namafogo. La wela batabwa nizambu Afrika. Beuna kaviga tukama kakutavye. Winning nanka nikatikuma kakubamye. Lebga sintobo nizamba namafogo. La wela batabwa nizambu Afrika. Sanga wene Song Africa. Sanga wene Song Africa. Atori nonga. Sanga wene Song Africa. Sanga wene Song Africa. Atori nonga. Kama zita mimba fo nonga pa mapanga nonga pa mapango wila katabwa nizambu Afrika tunonga lora mimba skunkuma uminga kama zita mimba fo nonga pa mapanga nonga pa mapango la wila katabwa nizambu Afrika. Ni man rambe Afrika. Tika makuta we. Afrika wo. Ni man rambe Afrika. Tika makuta we. Afrika we. Sanga wene Song Africa. Sanga wene Song Africa. Atori nonga. Sanga wene Song Africa. Yeah, we. Sanga wene Song Africa. Atori nonga. Sunonga lora mimba skunkuma. Uminga kama zita mimba fo. Nonga pa mapanga, nonga pa mapango. Wila batambwa nizambu Afrika. La wila batambwa nizambu Afrika. Wila batambwa nizambu
The world is watching Johannesburg. Leaders from the planet's biggest economies gather to make decisions that shape nations, markets, and futures. You already know, Channel Africa will be right there, bringing you the conversations, insights, and analysis that matter.
The best is yet to come.
The G20 Summit from the 22nd to the 23rd of November. As it happens, from an African perspective, stay tuned to Channel Africa and get all the G20 analysis. Live every Saturday and Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. Central African Time.
16:41 Central African Time. You are still tuned in to Africa's number one, Africa at Play, as we now welcome our final guest to the conversation, Francis F.M. Mutegi, our correspondent based in the beautiful city of Nairobi in East Africa, Kenya. So Mutegi, good afternoon and a very warm welcome to Africa at Play.
Absolutely grateful for the opportunity. Good evening to you. And once again, it's an opportunity that I will not want to miss to contribute to the show and listen as well as contribute to the rest of the African people's pride. That is the Africa at Play show.
Thank you so much indeed. Let's get on to it. I know Kenya in East Africa is one of the passionate countries about sport. What's the latest with the year almost saying goodbye?
Well, I think the most enticing part at the moment is preparing the country to host the Africa Women's Rugby Sevens tournament or championship that will be kicking off on 15th and played for 2 days, and it will include 12 big teams of the continent, of course, looking to get the winner, who in this time will be seeing whether South Africa can defend the title or someone else can throw them off the patch and take that trophy back home. The matches will be played at the Rugby Football Union of Eastern Africa grounds, that is RFUA in Nairobi, on the 2 days. And this reason, teams have started preparing to take their flights and should be arriving this coming week ahead of the tournament, of course, on 15th and 16th. And as you've mentioned, Kenya is a very passionate sporting destination, and for that reason, you can expect some ecstasy of sort in that ground on that particular day and the next day. And should things go by the wishes and prayers of the locals, of course, Kenya will be the formidable team to give South Africa all the difficulties they will need to face for them to lose their tournament. If they are to defend it, then they'll have to meet Kenya at the final if Kenyans are anything to go by, because they're prepared for that very, very enticing opportunity. Like happened some few months back, this time it was played in Zimbabwe, where Kenya gave South Africa some real difficult time in the women's rugby sevens, as you can recall. Neto.
So, Mutegi, we've witnessed a scenario where sevens rugby, especially when it comes to women in rugby, in Kenya to be precise, there is an impressive growth of the sport where the team also gets to participate in the HSBC World Sevens tournaments, and this is good for not just Kenya but East Africa. What is the current state of women's rugby in Kenya as we speak?
It is on the rise. There's no doubt the team Kenya is very much on the rise. They are very much becoming, let me call them, one of the notable outfits of the continent and beyond, because if you recall, very recently there was the Rugby Safari Sevens, the annual tournament that is hosted in Kenya, which is an international event attracting teams from across the globe, including Europe, the Americas, as well as teams from the Oceania, and for that reason, Asia. And in the event of being within the continent, of course, attracting teams from Africa, including South African sides. And in that tournament, Kenya managed to sweep the podium place in terms of men and women's championship. Both the men and women's teams, seven sides for that case, winning the gold medals of the Safari Sevens, Rugby Sevens. And the ladies, of course, were the most unlikely winners, looking at the performance of the men's side for previous tournaments, but this time they managed to outdo literally everybody who was giving them headache, and they managed to carry that trophy. And so that is a sign of how well they've become a formidable outfit. And if you recall, as I mentioned earlier, they also beat South Africa some very few months back in what was probably one of the very impressive performances as they sought to enter the World Cup. And the Africa Rugby, the IRB Sevens Rugby, and it is one of those signs that this team is indeed on an upward trend, and that is very much something to be proud of in the very few years to come. It will be one of the teams to beat in the world of Rugby Sevens, Neto.
Do you think there are great lessons that Team Kenya have taken from a country like South Africa, where rugby is part of the culture?
There is no doubt about it. South Africa has been probably the most dominant side in the continent for so long, and every time they've had to face any opposition that was notable, it was from Kenya, it was from Zimbabwe, and to some extent a bit of what we could see from the likes of Namibia. And in the end, now it has come out clearer that Kenya is one of the sides that have learned great lessons from South Africa, even on the men's end of the stick, including the Springboks. You can imagine how much Kenya rallies to try reach the heights within which South Africa is playing. And for that reason, it is something you can very confidently say has been a lesson to Kenya, and that is being seen now because they are now giving even South Africa a run for their money. And clearly, South Africa has been a lesson giver to the rest of the continent, more so Kenya, particularly gaining a lot of lessons. And as that tournament comes to Nairobi and South Africa coming as defending champions, you can expect some real enticing opportunity for Kenya to turn the tables against their, let me say, formidable outfit opponents in the continent. And for that reason, their teacher, this time it could be a case of the teacher losing to the students. But we've got to wait for that on 15th. That is next week. And for that reason, this week now, we expect the teams to start arriving. Neto.
16:48 Central African Time. We are wrapping up a conversation with our East African correspondent based in Nairobi, Kenya, Francis FM Mutegi. So Mutegi, before I let you go, earlier on we spoke baseball with a baseball player and coach in South Africa, Geraldine Grobler, whose team is gearing up for a trip to Zimbabwe for the African World Cup qualifiers that will be taking place next year. Is there baseball in Kenya, and if yes, what is the current state?
Yes, there is baseball in Kenya. Indeed, baseball is one of those very rare sports in that case, and there is also a very small league called the Kenya Little League, KLL, and it has been promoting the game and the sport for that reason since, I think, 1992. It's nearly, let me say, about 20 years now since the sport started finding some attention. And the Baseball Federation, which was established in 1992, managed to put together some few teams, and that is why they are called Little League, that have been playing the National League since 2010. And in that case, I wouldn't want to discourage your expectations about this particular sport in Kenya because it has been producing some very notable outcomes in the very recent past, especially when we look at it from the point of Africa tournaments, because it is estimated that about 20 or so African countries have got this particular program of baseball in the continent. And one of the teams that have been giving this particular sport some attention in Africa, of course, is Kenya, with the likes of Cameroon, Uganda, the likes of Zimbabwe, I think Botswana, Nigeria, without having to shout so loudly about South Africa, are among, of course, the bigger giants of the category. And in this case, therefore, you can say it is a sport that has some root in East Africa because of Uganda, because of Kenya. And Kenya and Uganda, by the way, have become real serious rivals when it comes to this sport whenever it has been played. And so it is gaining some traction, it is earning some attention, and for that reason, it is giving future expectations about it with a lot of attention now because of the very recent performances between Kenya and Uganda, and for that reason, against other teams that I've just mentioned, like Uganda in particular was a little more advanced than Kenya in terms of the sport, in terms of how they established themselves. The foundation has been stronger. They came to Kenya. They tended to introduce the sport to Kenyans, In the end, Kenya has become now a real challenge for Uganda, and for that reason, the rest of the continent now notices Kenya's abilities in the sport, and so it is one of the sports that you can say have got some real notable future to watch for NATO.
Sporting relationship in East Africa is very incredible. You talk about athletics. East African countries are in the forefront, and now we get to hear that the Ugandans, as neighbors to Kenyans, are able to cross the border and go teach a sport of baseball. And now you teach someone something and they come back to beat you. That's the exciting part of sport. But we say thanks to that great spirit of euphoria of caring about fellow Africans. Mr. Mutegi, always an exciting pleasure talking all things East African sport with you. Have an awesome afternoon further.
Thank you very much. And once again, it's always a pleasure to be part of the contribution. And for that reason, this big show that gives Africa a lot of attention. And for that reason, pride across the globe. Africa at Play, once again, happy to contribute, and will be here always to add value to that big show that you're running, Neto. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mutegi. Asante sana, they say in Kiswahili. 16:42 Central African Time. We take a short break, and when we come back, we'll find out what's coming up on Mix Vibration with our colleague, Jolene Nsungu. This is Africa at Play.
Africa in Business on Channel Africa.
The United States was very vocal at the beginning of South Africa's G20 presidency, and this is largely due to strained relations with South Africa at the time, that they were not really keen on participating. Where do they stand right now?
The US is planning to take over the presidency of the G20 next year, and our understanding from them is that they intend to continue to do so, and therefore it is quite difficult then to be in a situation where you are not attending deputies' meetings or discussions during our presidency and then to take over the presidency next year. From a finance track perspective, there has been engagement. We've been working on a communique last week and this week here in Zimbabwe. What's important about that is that it's a consensus document. And so all the members in the room have to agree to the language that is used there. And our US colleagues have been part of those discussions and negotiations.
Bringing the African markets into your home. Channel Africa, the African perspective. From football fields to finish lines,
Eliud Kipchoge storms into the history books.
Neto Chemane brings you sports on Africa at Play.
16:54 Central African Time. We can never say goodbye without finding out what's coming up on Mix Vibration with Jolene Nsungu. Bonjour.
Bonjour Neto, content de vous voir encore en ce moment. Nous rappelons à tous nos auditeurs qu'à partir dès 17h, ça sera Mix Vibration et nous allons vibrer sous le rythme de la bonne musique africaine. Non seulement ça, nous avons une invitée spéciale aujourd'hui, une grande dame, Naomi Diallo-Bonteke, qui vient de sortir un livre sur le marché. Eh bien, vous allez découvrir avec nous sur Mix Vibration.
There you have it, Mix Vibration coming your way in an exciting language of French, which is part of the 5 languages that we broadcast with on Channel Africa, including English, Kiswahili, French, and Portuguese. 16:55 Central African Time. We will be back again next week, Saturday and Sunday, from 2 to 5 p.m. Central African Time. Thank you to my producer, Babazile Makubalo, and our social media guru, Dumisilema. Not forgetting Mfundo Ngobeze in our audiovisual streaming team, as well as Tidimalo, Tito Fabulous Makau, our technical operator. My name is Neto, NETO Chemane. Hosiati, Konyazi, Japandle Ronjani, Moyane, Voko Tendele. Africa at Play, as Telelisia Shire. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Kutoka kwa